Mitch Clark also moving down back.
Opening bounce here at Amy Stadium. Good crowd in. Leuenberger up against Marriage. Wins it down. And a quick kick away by Riscatelli inside 50, and straight away Rutten into the action. Handball not so good. Edwards tried to mop it up. Called to play on. Buchanan bumped off the kick. Riley, Rutten under siege. Schmidt playing against his old team. Got the handball up just in time, and it'll be a ball in just as three Lions were about to pounce.
That was a very clever kick. There was three Brisbane Lions players ready to pounce, as you said, Dwayne, onto that loose ball.
Massive players in the forward 50 for this first stoppage.
And Douglas tagging Rich at the moment, so that'll be an interesting matchup as well. McKay couldn't break free with a decisive possession, still in the congestion, and I think Adelaide will push players back in this opening term, given that they are kicking into this breeze.
Oh, that makes sense. There's no doubt it's a 4 or 5 goal breeze going to the right of screen. Danger area here. One handball, one kick, and a shot on goal.
And hear the breeze whistling and our effects microphone as well. Okay, short. For pleasure.
And Stevens has got away from Clark, just hasn't been able to see him.
Umpire called him to play on there. McGrath tracks him down. Handball. Riley thought about giving it back for the 1-2. Rich puts some pressure on him. Turnover. Leuenberger can stroll in, gives it up. This will be a big confidence booster for Fev. He's been in Adelaide all week. He's sized it up nicely. Lions get the opener.
Brent Riley, when you're under pressure, he played on and then force his Super Bowl to kick the goal. But just have a look at this kick under pressure. The Adelaide player goes to ground also. It didn't help. It was always going to be a mark there to Brisbane in Leuenberger. A great start from the Brisbane Lions ruckman, but that's very deflating for Adelaide.
It is an elevated kick into the corridor when you're only, basically you're half a kick from goal with this breeze, and it's extremely dangerous. If in doubt, get to the boundary line and get it out of the area.
Been here in Adelaide all week, seeing Steve Saunders, the physio to the Stars.
And he'd be very happy. A quiet game last week, only the one goal against Geelong. Matty Scarlett match-up and appeared to be injured. And that's just the confidence boost that any forward needs.
Poor bounce, so it'll be rebounced. It'll be tossed in the air, obviously.
Well,
rebounce is the technical term.
You could have a good bounce and it's going to get blown out of the circle. So it'll be interesting to see how they monitor that throughout the day.
You mentioned Fev, one goal last week, 3 possessions only. That was the amazing part to me. Riley gets the clearance. Inside 50, Stevens. Rolling ball, Walker just runs past it. Getting onto it, Adcock. Half back, Power.
Well, that's an interesting matchup, Adcock on Walker, giving away about 6 or 7 centimetres, but you saw when the ball hit the deck, he was able to run away from Taylor Walker.
Rockcliffe, Maguire hugging the boundary, and that's terrible from Brent Staker.
But that'll be the key with the Adcock-Walker matchup. Voss's instructions would be compete with your body physically to get the ball to ground. As we see, Staker may have just discarded a finger there, or done a nail maybe.
He's thinking. Rich, long kick, Rutten gets back, couldn't trap it, and that's a win for Brisbane. A ball in the pocket.
But in those windy conditions, if Adcock can get the ball to the ground, his run off half-back will expose the size of Walker. So he needs to be on his game to make sure that his second efforts and tackling pressure in the forward 50 are right up there.
Davis tried to break free with it. Dangerous area here for Adelaide. Rutten tracks it down. Handball, Van Berle back, McKay, Cork. And that'll be a defensive behind, but not deliberate.
No, a well-disguised deliberate one, I would have thought. So that is a good move under pressure with this strength of the breeze favouring the Brisbane Lions. Any possessions, any turnovers are really going to open up your forward 50.
I think even the kickings here, Alice, you nearly got to go flood to one side and get numbers to the ball. It's hard to pinpoint passes in these conditions, especially kicking into the breeze.
Yeah, Davis did well there. Davis entrusted with the kick in, found McLeod, who gives to Douglas, and they're away, running the ball into this breeze. Douglas, he bounced that ball. The umpire missed the bounce. The umpire was blindsided and missed one of Douglas's bounces.
Oh, he's not actually arguing too much.
Well, let's have a look.
There's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8 steps.
That's not too far.
That's not too far unless he's Aaron Sanderlands coming about 3 metres ago.
Oh, my goodness.
That's terrible because they had the opportunity to run the ball up towards the 50 as well.
I think you're right, Dwayne. I think the Brisbane player was in the road of the umpire there when he took that bounce.
Well, the other umpire should have overruled him and said no and give the free kick.
Because they were away, they had options inside their forward 50 then, Adelaide.
Stiller, long kick, Rutten gets back and takes the mark. So a horror start for umpire Matthew Nichols.
Shocker.
Bock's
going to take 10 bounces just up this wing just in case.
No, it's good to try and run at every opportunity when you're on Jonathan Brown.
Edwards wide, Cook, and backing into him, taking a good grab, Justin Sherman.
That was well done from Sherman. Pushed his body back into his opponent, and the ball dropped into the front, into the drop zone. Took a very good mark.
Floats it to Rockcliffe.
While he's holding it up, Ivan Maric has gone down as a loose man behind the ball of the ruckman for Adelaide. So what Leuenberger needs to do is go and engage Maric and get a one-on-one so they can move the ball in there quicker.
Or be 15 metres in front and try to drag him out, get used on the way in. But certainly Brisbane won't be too keen to have loose players just blocking up their forward 50.
Maric, Jonathan Brown makes it a 2-on-1. Paul Pleasure, slick hands to McKay. To the wing. Tippett flew, couldn't bring the mark down. This is Gunston, the first gamer. Tackled, couldn't get a decisive possession away for his first touch in AFL footy, Jack Gunston.
And got a ball up. Got a nickname yet for him?
Well, I think Jack Gunston only has one nickname option, doesn't he?
You would think so.
We've got a very good matchup here. We've got Luke Power tagging Andy McLeod, so that'll be a great matchup to watch today. Both quick, use the ball well.
Maric, Leuenberger, Tippett knocks it down. McKay dragged down, no prior opportunity. Riley, Dangerfield coming off a quiet game last week, wants to make amends, drops it after the bounce, takes them on, shuffles it out, push, McLeod, play on advantage, into the breeze, scrapes the posts are behind.
It's a good sign though. It's a good sign. Run and carry into the breeze. That's what you've got to do in these conditions. Don't blaze away. Take the game on. Hell, he's taking the game on, Dangerfield. Even though he fumbled the bounce, I think Neil Craig will be wrapped with the opportunities in the midfield and he's taking the game on.
I would think instructions from both teams today, and both coaches, would be to take the game on, prepare to run and carry the ball. If we'll accept the error if it happens, but be brave enough to take it on.
Nice mark, Van Berlo into this breeze. Thompson, who started on the bench for Adelaide in a slight surprise. Rockcliffe, Riscatelli, Patfull. That's caught. Had prior opportunity. Crowd thought he did. Van Berlo to the goal square and taken through by Mitch Clark. Back into the lineup this week for the Brisbane Lions.
Well, he's playing defence. He's playing defence, Dwayne, on Scott Stevens. So unfamiliar role for Mitch Clark.
He's an extremely athletic 6'5", 6'6". It'd be a good position for him over a period of time. But we saw last year in the ruck, he was extraordinary.
Great luxury for Michael Voss to be able to have a swing man like that.
Long kick to Leuenberger. Cook in the hole. And Cook takes a strong mark.
Yeah, bit of courage as well in front of the big 204-centimetre Matthew Leuenberger.
Hits the hot spot. High kick. Paul Pleasure from 5 deep almost marked that. Walker nearly got a snap away. Paul Pleasure does, but it's wide. Behind.
You'd have to ask the question why Leuenberger and Clark didn't get a fist on that, though, when you see the mark. Just both big men didn't read the flight of the ball in these conditions. They were looking for the long one over the top.
To Leuenberger's credit, at least he did go for the ball and not the ear, as many a defender would have years ago. Mitch Clark.
In brackets, D for all
especially in these conditions.
Ears hurt more in these conditions. Edwards short. Riley.
Just a little ear massage.
Short. Van Berlo having an influence.
Numbers everywhere.
Didn't need to give that to McLeod. Gives it back. McLeod called for it, and you kind of have to give it if he calls. Maric under some pressure. Stevens under some pressure. McLeod, he's cool, he's confident. And he gives Adelaide the lead for the first time.
Fantastic McLeod. He's had the 2 shots on goal already for Adelaide. We talked about Luke Power on McLeod when Adelaide got the ball, and I think it's smart. Get the ball in the guys that can really distribute the ball and, more importantly, use it. I don't mind the extra hands. It really brings each other into the game. As we see there, the quick hands from Stevens to McLeod. Luke Power not to be seen in that situation there. So very good start here for Adelaide. Kicking into a 3 or 4 goal breeze. They're 2 points up. Great start for Adelaide.
Andrew McLeod, another player who had a horror game last week. Only 3 possessions after half-time against North Melbourne last week, Andrew McLeod.
He doesn't string too many bad ones together. See on the wing there, Spud, McLeod and Power.
He was very loose in, Luke Power, in that situation.
Douglas, the clearance. Stevens couldn't get the jump, and Tippett takes it to ground with Adcock.
Well, that's a win. That's a win for Adelaide in these conditions. If the ball can rebound quickly with the breeze, important to hold the ball in there.
It's very difficult to mark the ball, so at least Kurt Tippett got it to the front to give his smaller crumbing players an opportunity.
Leuenberger flicked it. Riley stole it.
Here he is again.
Same spot. Gives it away. Goodwin, 40 metres out. And he kicks it out of play on the full, if you can believe that.
Yeah, that's a shank. Haven't seen Simon Goodwin kick many like that over a great career, but they're working extremely well. They've got plenty of numbers around the contest, and their run and spread is very good. We've seen another occasion where there's players on the outside and there's zones in place early.
Marriage.
Here they go again.
Goodwin to make amends.
They've got to score.
Hits the square. Tippett. Good spoil, Maguire. Paul Pleasure. Snaps around the body. That's gold. Roll gold against the breeze.
Fantastic start again for Adelaide. Look at the inside 50s here. They deserve that goal. Brisbane had the first 3 inside 50s. Adelaide had the next 8. So they've gone in 8-3. And that's what you want from your big man there,
That's
Alistair.
exactly right. Very difficult to mark the ball. And I think the thing with Kurt, why he was so good last year, he was marking those, but he dropped away in the early part of the season. That's all that Neil Craig wants. Make a big contest and get the ball to the front.
He squared up beautifully, and he squared up to the ball, which made it really easy for Paul Pleasure to get front and square.
Gets a rest, Jason Paul Pleasure. He was another quiet early last week. Did finish with 2 last quarter goals, but his horror start to last week's game contributed to Adelaide's horror start in general. And his good start here has meant that they've got a handy break. Riley to half forward. They're inspired. Scott Stevens on 50. Tough kick from there.
Tippett wants it quick, long.
Well, they're winning all the 50-50 balls at the moment, Adelaide.
They are. And actually, I think the Adelaide runner just went out to Kurt Tippett. A little pat on the back for his strong contest.
Had an inaccurate season, Scott Stevens. 2 goals, 6 from 52. Breeze holds it up. Tippett, front spot. Leuenberger got there. Played for the extra 50.
Yeah, well done, Matty Leuenberger, who's the 3rd one in the contest.
Adcock. Wide ball. Douglas got a fist on it. Davis can't get back in. Well, he does, but he takes it out.
We'll head down to Lee Colby. It looks like Adelaide are winning all the contested ball down there, Colby.
Yeah, exactly right, Spud. Their hardness early has been evident. 18-7 it is, in fact, with their contested possession.
Leuenberger, free kick for the push out by Scott Stevens. Makeshift ruckmen quite often do that against the professional ruckman. Rich.
Well, not only that, Adelaide have had 45 disposals. Brisbane have only had the 25, so it's 2-1 at the moment.
At the moment, this is a real bonus for the Crows, kicking into the breeze.
Brown from 4 deep. Offhand Schmidt. Back to Douglas. Twists and turns. Spanfield tracks him down. Goodwin. Back to Schmidt.
Oh, they've worked this well.
Played 3 games for the Lions. Chris Schmidt. Rutten. Edwards. Bock. Van Berlo.
Yeah, well worked. Big numbers back. Use the ball across the ground well. Hard to hit targets.
And that's a good grab, not paid. Crowd thought Thompson held it long enough. Edwards pounces, and they'll come away with it regardless. Van Berlo, Thompson, wide ball for Norman Gunston, and he can't keep it in.
He's actually from the school of the boy we spoke about before, young Tom Scully. Haileybury College in Melbourne.
Great breeding ground. You've got Tyrone Vickery also from Haileybury.
And a quick one also on Jack Gunston. His uncle is actually Michael Brown from Australia Cricket.
Very nice, Colby. He's been doing some work down there.
Jeez.
Scott Thompson gives it wide.
Yeah, the run and carry's been impressive from Adelaide so far.
Douglas likes to kick a goal, slips the pass instead. through Dangerfield. Hawksley.
Too hot, that handball.
Absolutely. And Dangerfield ran on, pounced, shorts it, cut off Stiller.
Just got to have a little bit of patience just at the moment, the Brisbane Lions. They're just rushing and turning the ball over.
Rains, Rich, Power, almost a turnover. Patfull, South Australian boy from Norwood, back home. Schmidt steals it from him. Grab back again, Banfield, and they're away. Sherman has got one-on-ones ahead. Puts it up high. Brown, Favola, they're both down there. Ball hits the deck. Schmidt.
Scotty Stevens. Oh, gee, that's a brain fade.
Well, it's actually not as deliberate as he thought. He tried to get the outside of the boot,
the
but
central umpires
flushed
paid
it.
Had to be deliberate.
He just tried to get it on the outside of the boot and kick a little boomerang up the line, but just flushed it in the middle and just gone over towards Lee Colbert.
So there's a man with no left foot.
Absolutely no left foot there.
Left foot only for balance.
Just to walk on.
Buchanan. High, and it's a good mark. Scott Stevens.
Well, he's the loose man in defence now, Dwayne. They'll have to be aware of that, Brisbane.
Oh, good use.
Neil Craig's put the extra behind the ball. If they blaze away.
Petrenko to Riley. Almost a turnover. Walker walks through and hands back to Petrenko. Crowd really rising here in their support. Cook.
So they should. They're playing some exciting football at the moment, the Crows.
It's almost as if they wanted to kick against this breeze.
Rarely happens, though, Dwayne.
Adcock, although there has been the odd captain who's kicked against it, hasn't there, Alistair?
Yeah, Brisbane Lions one did here once, on instructions, I might add.
Who was coach then?
I think it was John Northey.
Right. Did they get it right?
No, we got slaughtered.
Rutten, Van Berlo, Short.
And I think that particular day, being co-captains with Michael Voss, I said, well, you can go have the toss. I'm not going to go out there.
Tell you what, have a look at the run and the carry here, though. They're throwing the ball around. They're running Brisbane off their legs at the moment, Adelaide.
McKay back to Schmidt, who likes to run. Short, Petrenko.
Well, he's in two minds then, because he had too many options, which is a great sign for the Crows. They're running into space to provide options for each other.
Dangerfield in the spot and pounces, gathers the crumb and goals.
Cool.
The confidence of Adelaide at the moment, it's becoming they're sharing the ball.
Yep.
You have a look at the possessions here, Alistair. 79 disposals they've had 35 kicks, 44 handballs. The run and carry, the handball receives about 38 to 11. They are running Brisbane off their collective legs at the minute.
That's a great indicator that I'm sure Adelaide Crows haven't seen in recent weeks. That handball receive, which is the will and the want to actually run and support your teammate and provide options. That has been missing for most part of this season. Today it's certainly there.
It's fantastic to see. They've started the last quarter last week. They kicked 8 goals against North Melbourne and only got beaten by the 9 points. They've started the way they finished the game last week, just full of run.
Big clearance coming up here. See the time left, 9 minutes, a lot of term left. Buchanan heads long. If you joined us late, the Brisbane Lions kicking with a breeze of about, well, we thought 4 or 5 goals at least, but maybe it's not worth quite that much. Bok, short.
Well, not at the moment, but that's why the Brisbane Lions can't afford to panic here. They've still got a bit of time. They've just got to get their hands on the ball and get their structures in place. They're just being rushed at the moment. That's a credit to the pressure that the Adelaide Crows are putting on the Lions.
Schmidt towards Stevens, who is having an influence. Adcock thought that he had just as much of it, but I thought that was a Stevens mark.
I reckon Stevens has had enough of the ball there to pay the mark. He's been very good in these last 5 minutes as the man behind the play. He's got the first contact. Oh, no, Adcock's got a fair bit of it there. Good call.
Well, not only that was Stevens, he's starting as a forward, and he's smart enough to go forward and engage the Brisbane defender, but then he realised when Brisbane got the ball, I'll get behind the ball and help Rutten and Bok.
Leuenberger gave to Rich. Off hands, Brown, little fumble, dives in, slides it out. Buchanan, the shuffle out.
Look at the numbers for Adelaide.
Bok, Cook, they've worked it wide. Schmidt.
Yeah, they run and spread. They've spread wide now.
Doughty. Rutten. Fev gets back, couldn't knock it away, and Rutten is away.
Stevens again.
Huge influence. Stevens back to Rutten. And Fev chases him. Rutten bounces away with some arrogance. Now Cook, who bounces away from Patfull.
Great chase, Patfull.
Big chase down, tackle that. A momentum turner.
Well, Brisbane needed something, and that was just sheer desperation there from Joel Patfull. Cook had the bounce. That is a magnificent chase. and tackle.
Yeah, Brisbane really needed that, but at the same time, Neil Craig, as you said before, Spud, he won't be too disappointed with the youngster taking on the tackler.
Well, Banfield didn't go off his line there. Took a half step, forced the play on, slips the pass wide, too wide for Brown, who takes it out.
Well, that's the issue for Brown, because you've got Stevens and getting back behind the hole. You see him play on here. The only place Jonathan Brown can lead is to the pocket, so they need to engage Stevens. Just play 1-1. Even if it means you've got 7 forwards in these conditions, at least you've got an even contest.
Polkinghorne gave it out. Rockcliffe slung 360, but did get a kick away. Schmidt was there. Van Berlo, good assistance back towards Schmidt, who can take it out, and will get a ball in. Chris Schmidt being the player that Brisbane got when they traded Jason Ackermanis to the Bulldogs. Pick 34 was the pick they received from the Dogs, and they grabbed Chris Schmidt with it. Brown, half kick Buchanan. Van Berlo still in the congestion, and Cook decides not to kick it, gives to McLeod, and when he asks, you give Rutten.
And that's a very good gift to find Rutten. His confidence is certainly up.
Well, Rutten's had the
McLeod.
9. Yep, Rutten's had the 9 disposals now.
Well, there's the run that we were looking for off the deep back line from Rutten.
Well, it's a huge win. Favola's only kicked the first goal of the game. He's had 1 disposal for Favola versus 9 for Rutten.
With a fumble of poor pleasure that allowed Rich to gather. McGrath, long, Buchanan slip over the top for Favola. Well, he's been their goal kicker. This is another snap, and puts it through. 2 from 2, the Fev.
Well, I'll give it as a... Well, it's got to be a goal. It's 2, but he didn't chase much, and he was just standing back there, and the turnover came back, and luck's a fortune in my book, because Rutten's trying to dictate the play. You can have and see here for Favola, he hasn't moved for about 20 seconds, and the ball comes straight to him, and modern-day striker, get forward to the ball and kick 2 goals.
Well, that's the positive that came out of it, that he still managed to kick the goal, and he needed to, because he hadn't chased, but that was a very good conversion.
Very few players in the modern game can get away with letting their goals tally define them. They have to do other things as well on the stat sheet, but if there's one that can, it's Fev.
Well, that hurts Rutten, because Rutten's had 10 disposals. Fev's only had 2, but 2 majors.
Good point, that. Riscatelli towards Favola, couldn't mark it. Essentially played for the free in the end and didn't get it. And Sherman sees it out of play. So we've played 22 minutes, 6 minutes left. Brisbane Lions winning the toss, kicking with the breeze.
So the handball received stats, 49-18, and that's a real key indicator how the game has gone so far.
Although you could accept that Brisbane won't handball as much, they'll kick more with this breeze.
Yep.
Little toe poke off the deck from Sherman. McLeod, fumble. That allows Jonathan Brown to attack it. Comes hard. Polkinghorne, handball a little too hard for Simon Black, and we haven't seen a lot of Simon Black at the moment. McGrath, the turnover, kicks long and wide.
Got to be very careful, the Crows here. With this breeze, you can put on 2 or 3 goals in very short amount of time. So got to work through this, maintain possession, continue what they were doing, which is the run and carry, the bouncing through the centre of the ground.
It's amazing, the last 7 minutes, Brisbane have had 6 inside 50s to Adelaide 0.
Just the 1 possession so far for the game for Simon Black. McKay, Scott Thompson, back to McKay, slips around Polkinghorne. Wide ball, hoping for and finding Tippett.
Yeah, they've got players free forward too.
Gunston.
Riley or Gunston. Riley will do.
Interesting, boys, the timing of Scott Stevens coming off the ground. He came off 3 minutes ago, allowed Favola to get that goal, and as you mentioned, inside 50s have picked up for Brisbane since he's been off the ground.
Very good point there, Colby. That is a very good point.
Doughty, one of the players who was very good last week. Equal most possessions for the Crows, and that loss to North Melbourne. Just inside 50. Power. Walker trapped it. Kicked it, it's high, it's across the face. Rockcliffe had to wait under that for a long time in the swirling breeze. Sherman.
He has to hold it up because the Crows have worked very well across the ground to block up the centre wing.
Manning the mark well, Adelaide too, though. They're really on their game. The little things here today have really come to the service for Adelaide. Obviously 3 players during the week have been suspended.
Well, we can see how they've really pushed their zone players back. They're working well as that 18-man zone, getting good coverage.
Jack Redden toward Jonathan Brown. Leuenberger's down there as well, but the ball did carry on that breeze further than the pack thought it would. Thumped out of play.
Well, Michael Voss talked about pre-game trying to bring other players into the ground, and they're such big targets, though, Jonathan Brown and Favola. They attract the ball. It must be hard for some of those half forwards to get in the game and be isolated.
Marich and Leuenberger, Riscatelli on the deck. Poor Pleasure got up with it. Hacks a kick toward the wing. Scott Stevens down there again. McGrath, Stevens, ball not clear. Rich, a little bump from Goodwin. And a good bump at that. Just letting him know.
Yeah, there's Nathan Van Berlo. He's on Sherman. So Van Berlo's had the 10 disposals, Sherman 5. So another win there for Adelaide. The matchups are really going Adelaide's favour. And fair enough, too, when you've got 105 disposals versus 66.
Riley couldn't grab it. Petrenko. Rich, Riley.
Good tackling
Ball still
pressure.
in the congestion. McKay reaching in. He's had a good first term in his return game. David McKay didn't play last week in that loss. 8 possessions so far.
It's good with Vince out of the side. Important that he stands up. One of those mid-size ball carriers.
Riscatelli. Power. Reigns. Rich. Still on the wing, messing with it. No one to go too long. Heads wide. Hawksley. And now they've got the runners. Simon Black to set it up. Low possession first quarter for him, and that sits on Jonathan Brown and makes it easy for Bob.
Well, that's his second disposal, Simon Black. Brent Riley started on the bench. Simon Black had the 2 disposals. Brent Riley, another matchup that's working in Adelaide's favour at the moment, but the concentration level for 4 quarters for Brent Riley, that's going to be the key on the champ.
Short throw in. Petrenko, McKay, possession number 9 for him. And it will count because it hits the line. In fact, the umpire said it was out on the full. I don't think it was.
He's going to be overruled here by the look of it.
Well, we're a mile away and we saw that was on the line. The crowd letting them know anyway. Can you believe that?
Well, Adelaide Crows supporters quite rightly a little bit disappointed with a couple of decisions in this first term.
There was an 80-year-old lady yelling abuse, and they don't yell abuse for no reason.
Oh, out in the full off Tippett. Off Tippett's toe.
Okay.
So, like us, we didn't see that first
Very
time.
nicely
The
done.
Crows supporters, so good decision.
Absolutely. Maguire heads inside 50. Van Berlo. Goodwin. Good work from our cameraman to get that little
No, it was outstanding.
off the toe.
Oh, you'll be in the good books, Lino.
Marich heads a little too wide in some respects, although Gunston nearly made something of that, and he'll head back to the forward line. Jack Gunston in his first game wearing number 28, which was worn last year on the list by Aaron Kite, but didn't play a game in it. Bernie Vince and Kane Johnson and James Begley, recent wearers of the 28 in real AFL games, and here he is, Gunston on cue.
Smart, clever.
Dumps it inboard to Stevens, to McLeod,
Oh,
who's hot.
he's too quick for power.
McLeod to the pocket, and that is unbelievable. Vintage Andrew McLeod.
Beautifully called, Dwayne. He's had the afterburners on today. The dual premiership player, Norm Smith medalist. And he just, have a look at McLeod here, run off. You can see Luke Power just on the left of screen, just trailing in. He's an amazing athlete. It's dream time this weekend, the Indigenous players. And has there been a better Indigenous player than Andrew McLeod? It'll be a very good debate. He'd have to be in the top 3, if not the best. He's a star.
Well, just to reconfirm what you're saying, Danny, he is 13th on the AFL VFL all-time games list. And, well, who knows? He could have been a Brownlow medalist in 2001. He was 2 votes away when Jason Ackermanis won that Brownlow. But a couple of Norm Smiths and a couple of premierships he'll be happy with.
He's certainly a great player, and he's been an outstanding touch in this first quarter.
Thompson heads wide. 13 points the margin. Marich run down. Got a kick with a shin. It's worked. Douglas, he kicks from 45. They can't get much hotter, surely.
Into a near gale, the Adelaide Crows are are running, and that's what they're doing. They're running the ball extremely well. We've seen a few tackles from the Brisbane Lions chasers at times, and there's good pressure here. On this occasion, it was McGrath put the pressure on, but there was players that are supporting the ball carrier, and that's a very good goal in blustery conditions. They're running, they're backing themselves, and obviously there's been a message during the week. Back yourself. Don't be afraid to take on the tacklers.
Big goal that from Richard Douglas, who kicked 4 behinds and no goals against North Melbourne last week. So a welcome return to the big opening for him. 19 points, and they're kicking against the 4-goal breeze. Leuenberger with the knockdown. Marich almost stole it. Riley does.
Another clearance.
Sends it inside, attacking 50. That's holding the ball. Tippett? No, he was dumped into the turf. Didn't dispose of it legally. Crowd getting involved here, and a free kick to the Lions.
Patful, I think it was. High contact in the, I think it was Walker might have got him a little high. But good tackle, good pressure on from Maguire.
Perfect wing tackle from Maguire there.
And
the real worry for Brisbane at the moment is not the run and carry. Also, it's the contested possessions. 41 Adelaide, 25 Brisbane. Just the 50-50 balls. It's all Adelaide because of the extra numbers. Have a look. They're just extra numbers at the coalface.
I don't think either team have been that good at the contested possessions in recent weeks. So it's a big win for Adelaide, but a big concern for the Brisbane Lions.
Can the Lions get a late one here? Bouncing ball picked up by Staker, who breaks free. Sends it in the Favola direction. Jonathan Brown back of the pack. Favola might have been held. In fact, he held Rutten.
Yeah, he just went to turn and just got an arm around the waist on Ben Rutten. So the kicks into the forward 50 have just been overcooked a little bit and have put the defenders for the Adelaide Crows. That is a holding decision, actually, against Brendan Favola. But yeah, kicks have certainly been overcooked.
Doughty just touched that before it went out. 18 seconds left in the quarter.
Just a big difference in the game. Staker took that mark and Banfield ran past. Adelaide are giving first possessions on instinct. I think Staker could have handballed that to Banfield and ran into an open goal. Just first option footy. That's what Adelaide are playing today.
Riley over the top to Petrenko. Surely not enough time for another Adelaide score. Stevens handballs inboard. They need a mark quickly. Dangerfield, 4 seconds left. Floats it up. Walker gets back. And on the siren drops it.
Good quarter.
But if you're a Crow fan, you've got to be happy with that. Lost the toss, kicked against the breeze in the opening term, and they lead by 19. 5-3, plays 2-2.
There's McLeod, a change there. Luke Power started on the champ, and now we've got James Polkinghorne.
Well, they kicked 5 goals to 2 against the breeze, Adelaide. What will they do with it? Riscatelli, McGrath, Black, White first term, back Stiller. Short touch ball play on, as you heard the umpire call. Staker couldn't make something of it. Dangerfield does. Thompson. Petrenko, a little fumble there and thrown out after. Won himself a free kick.
We did extremely well, knowing if he had have taken possession, Dwayne, he would have got tackled. So quick thinking there from Petrenko.
Thought his way through that one. Important for the Lions, actually got a clearance, but as they did in the first quarter, just turned the ball over too easily.
Van Berlo free and just getting back in time. Banfield, Polkinghorne. Fumble, Thompson, Riley. Can he hit a target? Short, Walker. Hasn't seen a lot of it yet, but this is well within his repertoire with the breeze at his back.
I was watching Matthew Leuenberger. He's in the ruck. He's a kick behind the play, but he had no impact in that contest whatsoever. I think he's more conscious of Tippett deep. But you've got to guard the dangerous opponent in the dangerous area. So there's Matty Leuenberger behind the play, and that's where you've got to play in these conditions. But you need to impact in the contest as well.
Kicked 3 goals 2 last week, but only really had one decent quarter. The last quarter, Taylor Walker. To extend the margin to 25, Breeze pumps that to the left.
Made the distance easily with that Breeze, but didn't have time to get their zone in place, and the Brisbane Lions have been able to get that first kick away. But great opportunity now to cause a spillage, cause a turnover, and hold the ball in the forward half.
Adcock hugs the boundary. Van Berlo front spot, Staker behind, forced to lay a tackle. Crowd wanted a free for in the back for Bock. Nothing doing. And the umpire has found it. He'll get a ball up going.
Hey, Colby, you talk about Monaco. Apparently one of our Fox Sports talent is listening to us overseas somewhere, mate.
He is, Spudley, big Jim Bob Hurd. So bonjour to Jim. He's listening to us in Paris at the moment, having a jambon croissant.
He's fair to say he's having a quiet night in Paris then. He's listening to us.
Oh, not much on
Loves his footy.
Dangerfield long, and Redden gets back, traps, hands it up to Simon Black. Slips a whitish ball. Power, well, they got on each other's way there. Power and Adcock. Maybe a turnover. Power's dived on it. He's dead. Rolls on it. Umpire let him get away with that. We'll get a ball up.
Yeah, they've been red hot on that this year. Once you go to ground, you drag the ball in and it doesn't come out. So a little bit of a let-off there for Luke Power. Black started the quarter really well. You see there Stevens trying to hold the ball in.
Stevens probably should have kept hugging it to Power.
Yeah, he tore the ball out and saved Power.
Black started well this quarter. It's his third disposal already this quarter.
Back, Riscatelli, Sherman, and the boundary line, the friend there, they didn't use it. Polkinghorn, Rich, Riscatelli, so they're doing what Adelaide did in the opening term, run it into the breeze. Redden to Brown, hasn't had a big day at the office yet. Gathers, but is in turn gathered. Hits
Good
the deck,
pressure.
gone. He just hasn't got the zip at the moment, Jonathan Brown. Redden picks it up, short to Favola. 2-goal opening term, gets a chance to make it 3.
It was a good contest from Bock and Jonathan Brown. Great lead there from Favola. Not a lot Rutten can do in that situation there. You see here the contest between Bock and Brown, just went to ground there in the conditions more than his groin, though, I think, there, Dwayne, in his defence.
This will be a tough kick. He's going to have to aim at the left goal post, and the wind will be blowing it out of the goal face to the right of screen.
Should he punch it low, Lynchy?
He's going to have to, because if it gets up above the goal post, it's going to go hard right.
This is just his third kick, Brendan Favola, and he's got 3 from 3. Did it carry? You bet it did.
What about the special comments there? It's gone right to left.
That is an amazing kick. You've called it beautifully, I thought, with the flags, but maybe a little bit blustery there. But that was an outstanding kick. That had a bit of draw on it, like the old golf draw, but the beautiful kick from Redden, lace out. You see Jonathan Brown there just going to ground on Bock. Good follow-on here from Redden, though. He was the one that initially kicked the ball to Brown, and it's a very good kick to Favola, and more importantly...
It's another goal. Hasn't had a lot of the ball. 3 goals to Fev.
So 6 goals to the scoring end against the Breeze, 2 with the Breeze so far in this game.
That defied logic, though, that kick going right to left. I think we'll have to put our cue in the rack judging that up that end.
That's why we get the big coin for the special comments. Just slaughtered that one.
Douglas with the clearance, bounces it toward Walker. Tippett does tip it down to Stevens to Walker. Well, that was on its way to McLeod, cut off by Clark. Just got a hand in the way, Riscatelli. Back to the midfield.
Oh, that's a good pass. Just got there. Now they've spread well.
So the wide ball, Stiller over the top. Sherman floats it in towards Brown. Good fist away, Doughty. Edwards had it but lost it. Doughty to mop up that mess. Back to Edwards, caught. He dropped it again. That's got to be ball. Banfield plays on to advantage, maybe his disadvantage. Handballs to Rich. Ball bounces nicely for him. Left foot kick low and hits the post.
Yeah, that's a let-off there for Adelaide. The ruckman there, Ivan Marriage, he just spectated the ball, had no idea where Daniel Rich was, and then turned around at the last minute. Petrenko's on it.
Just, it's amazing how the Lions have kicked in the gear now that they're going against the Breeze.
Douglas.
Well, if 3 boys are kicked into gear, Riscatelli's had 4, Simon Black 3, and Redden 3 for Brisbane early.
Good one. Nice long kick, although Patfull read it okay, and getting in front of him, Black was called into it. He takes the mark, used the power. Not sure about that kick. Edwards about to gather. Hunted down by Sherman. He got him by the leg. Free kick, play on advantage. Doughty. Walker slides in. Practice Tippett takes the mark.
He'll be looking to get towards Walker.
And Walker's on the move and got it.
Good pass, good lead, and it seemed to be a bit of a mismatch, but Ash McGrath was on Walker at that stage, and just the ability of Taylor Walker to find space, he does it extremely well, and good kick by the big ruckman come forward in Kurt Tippett.
It was an excellent kick from Tippett. You could have been excused for blazing away nice and early, but he knew behind him there was one-on-ones, and he knew there was space, so he just held it up beautifully and kick the ball to grass. And as a forward, you love leading onto those.
He's already had a sighter. Has missed one.
Oh, he shanked that.
His best.
That won't even score. Tippett almost marked it. Had one arm pinned, and the crowd thought he deserved a free. Well, the crowd always think the Crows deserve a free here.
Yeah, he's asking the umpire there, and it looked as though he had the left arm. You see Tippett kicking the ball. Have a little bit of a look here with Tippett going for the ball. Yeah. Play on.
Stevens got a quick snap off some hands. McLeod, the danger man so far in this game. Bouncing ball, and it's out of play, and we'll get the ball in. Adcock couldn't keep that alive, didn't really want to. 34 plays 21.
Here's another angle of the Tippett. Oh, yeah, got his hand all right, Maguire. His left arm. That's a free kick every day of the week.
Knowledgeable Amy Stadium crowd knew it as well. Riley, centering kick. Tippett floats into it, so too Porplesia. Stiller runs into a tackle. Scott Stevens had him for a while. Clark, Black arched the back and got away. McGrath.
Well, Black's on fire at the moment. Brent Riley has to be aware that Black's going deep into Adelaide's forward 50 to get the ball, and it's really setting up Brisbane. So Riley has to change his mindset now, because he really had Black covered in the first quarter, but Simon Black's had 5 disposals already.
He needs to just lock on to Simon Black now. Shut him out, because if he gets any more confidence, he would be very dangerous at the other end of the ground as well.
Riley's saying, OK, you're getting the ball deep, but what it is, it's starting some counter-attacks for Brisbane, so he just needs to play hip on hip for the next 5 minutes.
Short, Buchanan, McGrath, Sherman. Plenty of handball, but it's got them in trouble. Rockcliffe caught by Goodman. Did he have prior opportunity?
He's pinned him.
Caught into the umpire, he did.
Almost a
Caught
team.
into the crowd, he did.
Almost a team prior opportunity on that occasion, but the short handball will put pressure on the ball carrier every time.
Mike Cook, poor kick. Clark, Buchanan couldn't half volley it. Clark into the back. Van Berlo free, and this might be kickable from there. Breeze pushing it toward the goals.
He's been super today, Van Berlo. He's at the 12 disposals already, 5 handball receives.
Looking for the handball just inside, but Taylor Walker was giving nothing there.
Called to play on.
Oh, good kick.
Centering kick. And that's a good mark, Leuenberger. Back in the hole. Stood strong. Rains. Now they'll run it. Brown. Redden. All the way back to Leuenberger. And that's a throw.
It's a throw.
Well, it was magnificent corralling and pressure from Adelaide. You can see Brisbane trying to run and carry like Adelaide did in the first quarter, but Adelaide were too smart. You see there Thompson, but it started with the corralling up the ground. Brisbane looked at the Adelaide defenders and they were saying, no, we're going to corral you into a spot and then we'll know you.
Yeah, there was nowhere to kick at that stage, but right idea to handball and get through the zone, but still putting on pressure when Adelaide are putting such pressure on.
Like McKay, another one of the ins this week. Scott Thompson, that kick not so good, and off some hands and into the goal post.
Very similar kick to Taylor Walker's last attempt, just the instep, and has been dragged out to the left.
McGrath, pained look on his face, lamenting the fact there's no options. Umpire will tell him to move it on shortly. Forced to go to the pocket.
Oh, well done.
On. Short, Sherman.
That was well done to take on the man on the mark and find a target around that 50-metre arc, because the bailout kick 20 metres around the boundary line is a nothing kick, and it's an advantage for the Adelaide Crows. So good work for the Lions to get it up to the arc, but likewise great work from the Crows to put this full press on and really stymie any sort of attack the Lions can make.
Maguire floats into it. Couldn't bring the mark down. Gathered and in turn gathered. No free.
Good contest.
Crowd one on one.
Staker's free and Favola.
To Staker, to Favola. He's already kicked one from this exact spot. And he holds it up. And he will attempt to make it 4 from 4.
Well, Colby, the run and carries all Brisbane's favour this quarter.
Definitely, Spud. 24-7 in Brisbane's favour, so there's definitely a shift in this second term.
Well, talk us through this one, Spud. Well, the last attempt.
The way the wind's going, Lynchy, it should go left to right, but he just made a meal of us with his last kick, and if it goes right to left again, well, we have to give him credit where it's due.
Must be some protection from that big stand behind the goals.
Just needs to replicate his last kick. It's across the face and just scrapes in for a behind. So 3 goals, 1 from 4 kicks.
Well, that makes us feel a little bit better, Spud.
We wanted to kick it, by the way.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
We just wanted to know that those conditions that Lee Colbert taught us before the game were definitely going left to right.
Just to get our confidence up a little bit.
We're a bit gun shy, aren't we, with that kick?
Edwards. Jonathan Brown should jump at this. Patfield flies in the end. Brown stays down. Riscatelli shuffles it out in Brown's direction. McKay tried to get it clear. Thompson, Rockcliffe, Adcock, Hawksley. McGrath needs to motor here. Petrenko did well. Cut that off. Cook slides a rolling ball in the Dangerfield direction. Dangerfield and Maguire. Maguire gets there first. Dangerfield tracks him down. Put enough pressure on. Gathers. Handballs it up. Douglas. Well worked, Adelaide. 19 points to margin.
Yeah, good work from Douglas on that occasion, and good work from Adelaide Crows. Matt Maguire was probably a little unlucky. He had the bouncing ball out in front and just couldn't get a handle on it. Saw Dangerfield pushing hard towards the ball. Just tried to keep it going, did Matt Maguire in front of him, but an awkward bounce. Some good work from Dangerfield. He's been a very good player today so far, and a good goal from the Adelaide Crows. Lions were working their way back into the game with some run and carry, but that hurts. Quick transition goal.
2 goals for Richard Douglas. They were forced to drop Bernie Vince, their best and fairest winner. Graham Johncock didn't get a go this week. Matthew Yench also dropped. Disciplinary reasons for the threesome, and they might find it hard to get back in. Adelaide, hot at the moment. Dangerfield held. I don't think the umpires saw it because that was an obvious free to all that did see it.
Well, he's got away with a couple, Matt Maguire.
Well, he's got great leg speed, Dangerfield, and
just a little holding.
Nice grappling, we'll call that.
Yeah, that's right. Good scruffing.
Okay. Not quite hanging on. That's called a grapple, Dwayne.
Okay, that's the defender's term.
Yeah.
The
Steve Silvani perfected the grapple.
It's the fool's grab. Thompson. Okay, high kick. Top of the square. Adcock gets back to floater, and he's dropped it. Good opportunity here for Gunston. Slips out a handball. Couldn't find Douglas initially, and
high contact.
And gets one for 2 high.
Well, he went low and hard at Richie Douglas, and he's won the free kick. That's outstanding play. You just see here the conditions there really
to go in
hurt.
hard as well, and Gunston over the ball in his first game. But high contact is definitely across that right shoulder. So good effort from Rains, but just a little high contact there to go against him.
Talk us through this one, Colby.
Well, it's going to be tough, mate. I think he's got to go left post and let it just come back. But
tough.
Yeah, it'll be very tough.
Your grandma would kick it from there. Richard Douglas. Gee, how can you miss that?
I'm with you, Dwayne, because you just put it inside the right-hand post and the wind will do the rest. He aimed outside, and that's a classic example of allowing the wind, trying to get the wind to kick the goal for you. Never give the goal face away.
Thank you up the hole.
Exactly. So he's aimed to the left of the goal post.
The thing that would have helped Colby's grandmother there is she's a left footer as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Would have opened up the angle.
Swings around on the natural arc.
That's right.
Colby did so. It was going to be a tough kick, though.
She would have steered that through beautifully, Dwayne, I'm telling you. Best kick in the family.
McGrath short. And just playing possession footy, Matt Maguire. 8 minutes to go until half-time. 20 points to margin.
It was just very difficult to find these targets because the zone execution for the Crows has been very good to cause these sort of turnovers.
Yeah,
Free kick to Gunston here.
They play this ground really well,
Yeah.
obviously, Adelaide. This is their home ground. They really do zone every blade of grass magnificently here today.
It's a mobile zone. Like, it's not just stationary guarding space. They move back and forth.
The debutant hits the hot spot. Marriage pushed out, and a good mark to Maguire. He
Excellent
bumped
mark.
him as he was going for the ball, and the umpire's got that right. Adcock wide, Stiller. Handball smothered. Boundary line, his sanctuary, finds it deliberately. Ball in.
So let's have a look at Matt Maguire here. Good use. He's
beautiful.
jumped and used his body, and that is strong in a marking contest. Very good mark. Still under pressure, though, the Lions. Plenty of players around this stoppage.
Clark and Marich, little back flick from Marich. Petrenko trapped. Did he go to ground on it? He didn't. Ball up. Adelaide can keep their hypothetical, mathematical, minimal
No
finals
chance.
chances alive with a win today, and they need to at least have something to play for, surely, for the remainder of this season. And if they win today, they at least keep that tiny hole open.
Well, there's an enormous amount of pressure on the club. I mean, obviously the scrutiny and the focus that is on the coach as well. I think he'd enjoy a win today.
I think they've done well, though, suspending those three boys. You know, when you're losing games, you can sweep things under the carpet, but the professionalism and preparation of Adelaide under Neil Craig has always been the benchmark, and it's unacceptable. The three guys got their right whack, and I think these 22 boys out here have had a little short back and sides as well to say, well, we're all on notice.
So. There's times when you can push the boundaries, but it's not when you're injured or losing as badly as Adelaide Crows have been.
They'd need to win 10 of their last 14, which is near on impossible. Redden short. Brendan Favola up the ground.
He's got to be patient because Brown has got a 2-on-1 situation.
Brown leads up towards him, and Favola makes that tough for a man with sore groins.
Well, you're just going to give Jonathan Brown a little pat there, so sorry about that one. But because the numbers back in that zone that Adelaide have been setting up, he just had nowhere to go outside the boundary line, so he had to push towards that line, that pocket. It was always going to be hard to hit him up.
Redden stole that from nowhere, sends it long, goal square. Favola gets back, Rutten with him with the fists, and now Favola forced to chase. Handball puts Davis under some pressure. Buchanan
Held over
adds
the
a little
ball
bit
well
to
there,
the pressure.
Davis.
Rutten caught, throws it out. Schmidt caught, threw it out. Buchanan dives back in. Edwards there with them. Good effort this. Banfield, he has the shot, and that's big. That is a big win.
It was the Rutten handball that put the Brisbane Lions forwards back into the game, and the Crows defenders under enormous pressure. This one that missed the target allowed Buchanan and Favola to be involved in the tackle, and then they were continually under pressure. Brisbane pushed numbers up into the contest once again. Good effort from Buchanan and Banfield. He knows his way around a forward 50 and does find the ball, and that is a handy goal with 6 minutes in this half remaining. They needed that one.
Brisbane got smacked in the contested possessions in the first quarter, but that will give them a lot of heart. That was just find a way, win the hard ball. There's Simon Black on the champ, Andy McLeod. He's had a good quarter also, Simon Black.
From the ball up, clearance important here. There's a holding free, and it's going Brisbane's way. It'll come back quickly down to Lee Colbert. Colby.
Yeah, Simon Black, as you mentioned, come back on the ground, and Brent Riley's following him everywhere. But the other one is Jed Adcock's actually rolled his left ankle, which he's had a little bit of trouble with. He's trying to stay warm on the boundary line here.
He has. He's missed a few games with that ankle injury, so that's a concern.
Clark got it from Black, sends it long. Banfield front spot had to go in the end. McLeod, Schmidt, Rutten, Van Berlo, some pressure. Bock gets and goes. No one chasing. He can keep bouncing if he wants to. Sends it inboard. Simon Black makes the contest, and a good contest at that. Tippett dives in with him. Shuffled out. Doughty faked the handball, then didn't get a decisive kick away after having prior opportunity and was tackled. Schmidt comes up with it fortuitously. Heads toward half forward. Dangerfield drops the mark. Runs into McGrath. Runs past Adcock. Too strong. Gunston. He's caught. Got an arm free. Adcock. Good passage of play this. Hard, tough footy. Adcock, Clark. Brisbane Lions know they're a chance to eat into this lead late. Polkinghorn McGrath, long ball. Favola down there. Rutten with him. Rutten 3.
Beautiful play, Rutten. Played in front. Had the courage to play in front. And you've got to do that in the wind anyway, kicking into the bruise. But great play, Ben Rutten.
And Marich takes the mark. Fends off with Banfield. Gives to Goodwin. Adelaide a chance for a score here. Toward half forward. Gunston, he's got the goods.
I like the way he uses his body. Well, also.
Short pass.
Good
Tippett
spoil.
dumped away from him and out of play.
Great spoil. I think it was Adcock who got the reach in there.
Favola still arguing with the umpires, by the way.
Yeah, well, no point doing that. Kurt Tippett tried to take a chest mark that allowed the defensive spoil to come from the Lions. Needs to probably take it out in the hands, out in front of the chest.
Favola was looking at the scoreboard to see whether he deserved the free, and the scoreboard was showing a replay of him arguing with the umpire.
Well, he might get this.
Brown heads wide. Favola, Rutten, Favola. Good bump. Fev can roll this toward goal. Doughty chasing it down. Unbelievable.
What a goal.
That is better than he's ever.
He's in the grand. He's up in the grandstand after that fantastic goal, but that's what Brendan Favola does. He argues with the umpire. He maybe at times gives some free kicks away. But have a look at the execution of this little kick. And this is not something you practice a lot at training, but I think the modern player probably does more than in nowadays. But, oh, geez, you'd be disappointed that Doughty just didn't get a hand on that at least. But that is an extraordinary goal.
Well, I think Doughty was more worried about the post in the end. And I've got to be honest, you've got to go at the ball. You've really got to go at the ball there. He elected to stay out of it.
He's kicked some good ones, but...
That's a ripper. That is a ripper. Great goal. Ended up over the fence.
Have a look at the Adelaide supporters here. They're not too happy with him, but he's on fire. He's kicked the 4. Rutten's had a good game as well. He's had 15 disposals, Rutten.
Margin back to 8 points.
It's an amazing game, isn't it? Rutten's had the 15, and he's won a few one-on-ones. Fev's had 6 possessions for 4 goals, 1.
Goodwin with the long pump. Tippett, just a fumble from Gunston, and it went through Tippett's hands. Staker wide. Redden through his legs. Puts himself under a bit of pressure. Caught by Marich. He got a handball away. Scott Thompson runs into a gang tackle. Mauled toward the boundary. And it'll be a ball up. The umpire probably bring this in a metre or so. They very rarely bounce it on the line.
This marking contest. Good work there from Gunston. Actually did a lot of the hard work and then just put it out of reach of Walker.
So the umpire will bring this in a couple of metres.
A little bit more talk from Taylor Walker there.
Maybe.
I think Gunston was not sure, being a youngster playing his first game. Just a bit more protection, a bit more talk with his voice. He probably would have marked that.
Looks like a likely type though, Norman.
Yes, he does. 34-42. The scoring end has been the end against the Breeze, strangely enough. Adelaide led by 19 points at quarter time. And they currently lead by 8. Almost a chance to extend it there. Dangerfield wrapped up. McGrath can't get it out. Ball up on 50.
No, they've done well, Brisbane Lions. They've had 78 disposals this quarter, 8 inside 50s for 3 goals, 2. Adelaide, Brisbane have defended really well. Adelaide had the 13 inside 50s for only 1 goal, 3 with the win. So Brisbane have done extremely well and started with Blackburn, the midfielder, behind the ball.
Riley from 50 lets the Breeze push that long. And offline.
Couldn't bring that one back against the Breeze, but with 2.5 minutes, zone in place, need to generate another shot at goal to the Adelaide Crows in this situation. Hold up the ball, hold up the Brisbane Lions whenever they take possession.
It's amazing too, they're kicking into the wind. It was all Adelaide under contested possessions. Brisbane had 55 to Adelaide's 30, so this team running into the Breeze have really ran hard and used the ball well.
There's a mindset knowing that they have to run it up into the Breeze, and they run to support where over kicking it too long to just congestion maybe with the Breeze.
Riley back inside 50. Tippett stands under it. Staker, a hard fist.
Like that kick then from Adelaide.
Rains,
blazing
Adcock.
away.
Stiller stops, puts himself under pressure, turns it over. Dangerfield can make him pay full price. It's a roller, and it's out of play.
Andy McLeod there, just in eyesight of Dangerfield. Maybe quick hands. Didn't quite seem. I think the kick was always on, but McLeod was pushing hard forward there.
Tippett tries to pluck it and extracts a kick. It was touch play on, according to the umpire. Only a behind. 2 minutes from half-time. Adelaide 1 win, 7 losses. Brisbane Lions 4 wins, 4 losses coming in. This is 11th and 15th on the AFL ladder, and it's tight.
There's Andy McLeod. He's only had the 3 disposals, so the move for Michael Voss has paid dividends this quarter. James Polkinghorn has had 3, and more importantly, kept McLeod down to only 3.
I think it was Polkinghorn did a pretty good job for most part on Gary Ablett last week as well. So another good job.
Van Berlo back to the hot spot. Dangerfield stays down in the end, thought about going up, but the ball sailed a bit. Leuenberger stood there well. Rains got it from Black, gives it to Rich. Chips the ball. Banfield, they've got the run here. Clark's calling for it long inside 50. Sherman looks up, he sees Clark, he goes for goal. He'll need to kick it, and he does. Justin Sherman.
Outstanding response from the Brisbane Lions in this second term. We thought that maybe just the game might blow out with the Adelaide Crows in good touch in that first quarter, running with the breeze, but certainly there's a mindset to run and carry and support into the breeze from both teams, and certainly Adelaide Crows are just kicking the ball, blazing away to long contests, and it's not working for them. That's a good goal from Justin Sherman. Mitch Clark was screaming at him just forward of him to maybe the little dink kick over the top, but didn't need it.
This game's a classic example of the conditions. You talked about Lynchy running it in with extra hands. The handball receives were all Adelaide running into the win the first quarter. This quarter, Brisbane have had 38 to 21, and it's led by Justin Sherman with 5. So it's amazing how the conditions, the coaches will be both frustrated when they're kicking with the wind.
Buchanan to Riscatelli. They could take the lead here. Sends a long ball towards goal, and it's offline. 3 points the margin. 1 minute to half time. An amazing turnaround.
Oh, it is. Full credit to Brisbane too.
Douglas.
And it started with the leader, Simon Black, had a quiet first quarter and just started the ball rolling at the start of this second quarter.
Thompson and Burlow. Walker.
Probably got to look into the corridor. That's typically they've been just blazing away long.
Does bang it long. Scott Stevens rolls into it, and he can shoot from there.
Well, the good thing about that kick was it was out in space and allowed Stevens to run into space and take a chest mark. Too often they've just been banging to the top of the goal square with a massive players there, and always very hard to take a contested mark in that situation.
The runner ran out there, and he's lucky he didn't get the ball taken off him. You're not supposed to be doing that, and he starts it to the right and leaves it right. It was all wrong. Only a behind.
Seen a number of free kicks given away by runners over the weekend.
Yes.
Certainly something the umpires are extremely conscious of at the moment.
Not time enough for a Brisbane score, but time enough for a Brisbane turnover and an Adelaide score. Adcock, important kick in. Black floats in. Scott Thompson was down there. Danger averted. Handball over the top, almost. Polkinghorn gets it out of the area. Half-time at Amy Stadium. Round 9 clash. And the Brisbane Lions have surged back against the breeze to cut the margin to 4 points.
Not with us. We're out. Oh, it doesn't matter if you...
Goal 6. Brisbane went in 10 times for 4 goals 3.
Clark into the ruck against Marich to start this third term. Marich, Riley with the clearance. Open space at half forward. Ball bounce kindly for Riscatelli and unkindly for Tippett. Maguire, Polkinghorn ran into Douglas. Got a good handball out though. Cook Almost a throw. Must have just got a fist onto it. Huge pack around this. Black dived on it. And they dived on Simon Black. And that's probably a good free to start paying overall. I think if players do dive on the ball, you still must tackle them legally, surely. McGrath spears that to half forward to Banfield.
That's a super kick.
He's got Sherman over the top. Ignores it short. Favola. He was the hot man in the opening half for the Brisbane Lions. 4-goal opening half to Brendan Favola.
Well done for Chris Smith, just dropping off his direct opponent to get in front of the lead from Favola. The spoil up. Former Brisbane Lions player.
It was good to see Brisbane hit up Banfield too, though.
Oh,
so
yeah.
just blazing away to Brown and Favola under pressure.
Clark with a kick from the ruck contest. Schmidt, Van Berlo. Throw. Free kick to Brisbane. The natives will get a little restless if the Lions take the lead here.
Well, in the tackle, the left arm was pinned and then just couldn't get an effective disposal away. So good tackle. You watch here, I think the left arm was pinned, so it was an incorrect disposal and a throw effectively. So shot at goal early for Banfield in this third term.
Brisbane Lions have not led since the 8-minute mark of the opening term. To take the lead back, kicking with the breeze in this third. He keeps it low and he kept it a little too wide.
Again, allowing the conditions to control the kick. Just tried to steer the ball through. Just go back and use your correct technique. Doesn't matter what the wind's doing at all.
He's a very smart footballer with an enormous amount of pace. Just the kicking at goal is something that he has to work on, but that'll come. But a bad miss early in the third term, which it would have got Brisbane Lions off to a cracking start with the breeze.
Van Berlo kicks but straight to Jonathan Brown, coming off a 6-possession first half, Jonathan Brown. And that's a horror kick to tip it. Poor Pleasure. They can make them pay. Dangerfield. Poor Pleasure. Little fumble. Ran into trouble. Turnover back again. McGrath. Stiller. Maguire. Wide ball. McLeod stands under it. It sways along the breeze. And he marked it.
How good is that?
Oh, he played on. He was smothered. And he still got 50.
Well, love to look at the replay there. But McLeod's got a 50-metre penalty. No doubt that he's tried to play on and drag the ball around on his left foot and it was smothered. But
we'll go back to the mark, though. Yeah, turn his back on it. The ball was flying everywhere. He just had eyes for the ball.
Well, I think Mitch Clark had been called back and he hadn't gone back. And then with McLeod trying to play on, the smother was over the mark. So I think that's what the free kick or the 50-metre penalty was awarded for.
And you're not allowed to play on until the umpire says play on when you're on the mark. You've got to wait till the umpire says play on.
Turns 34 in August. His tyres are running a little low on tread. And he hits the post there. In fact, he's been in the news again today, Andrew McLeod. Tyson Edwards and he have played more games together than any other combination of the history of VFL, AFL football, McLeod and Tyson Edwards. And yet their argument, their spat, if you like, that's carried on over the last 4 or 5 years as Clark takes the mark, was news in the newspaper again today, surprisingly enough, that Chris McDermott, their old captain, said it was actually still a war between Edwards and McLeod, which is amazing to me. Riscatelli back to Clark, to the wing. Redden plays on quickly.
Bad handball.
Sherman under pressure. Ball hits the deck. And a wraparound tackle
just in that
by Rich. And here's the article in today's Sunday Mail. It's time for the pair to bury the hatchet. Chris McDermott, their old captain, saying there's still a war on between the two. And that's not a good sign for Adelaide.
No, it's not. But you wouldn't think it out in the ground, though, Dwayne.
Well, they still don't talk to each other, and that can't be good for their relationship. And their CEO, Stephen Trigg, who I spoke to before the game, actually said to me that they get on all right, they just don't talk.
Sometimes football, you have got
that. That's an interesting one, but I understand what he means.
But sometimes football, you can have forced friendships as well. And I know it's a great team game, AFL footy, but you don't have to be everyone's best mate.
Tippett. Almost scooped that up to McLeod. Got a little push in the back.
It's a little different when you were best mates, though.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah, that's true. Short pass into the hole. Could have marked that Staker. Elected to go the safe option. And Polkinghorne taken over by one of the men we're talking about, Andrew McLeod.
It's always an interesting one, the double fister. If you get the 2 fists on it, you can normally mark the ball.
So as if you're there and you're in a position whether it's over the back of a pack, but you can get both hands onto it and you've got clear air in front of you, might as well mark the ball, but if in doubt, get it out of the road.
Riley floats over Dangerfield's head, and McGrath, brilliant there. Straight down the middle, he's got Redden. Needs to be good, and it was.
Well, McGrath's been outstanding. That's his 17th disposal, Ashley McGrath.
Buchanan's handball not so good. Davis cuts it off. Inboard, Schmidt, Doughty. Handballs instead of kicks. Scott Thompson. Marriage. Hands it off. Van Berlo. Long bomb. And just hits the inside of the post.
Well, the big ruckman almost got involved for lead up for a goal, but yeah, a stationary ruckman probably wasn't the ideal option, but some good work from the Crows players. But back to Ash McGrath, has been very good. Looked likely he was going to miss today's game with that elbow injury. There was a hyper-extension last week and was in grave doubt, but there's the hit the post and the scone of the umpire.
Double whammy.
Staker back.
Cannon, isn't it? Worth big points.
Which one was the wood?
Adcock. Sure, that's nasty.
I'm
Staker,
only
little
joking,
fumble.
Wayne.
Paul Pleasure wrapped him up. Trouble. He's still got him. Tries to knock it under him, and Adcock clever there. Crowd wanted a free for deliberate. Wasn't there. 47 to 42. Did just drop it.
There's a fair case there for dropping the ball.
Staker to Adcock. Back Maguire. Hawksley. You've made that tough for Maguire. Hands it back to Hawksley. Says you've made the mess, you better mop it up. To McGrath. And sells the dummy beautifully.
Must use it short because they got numbers 50 metres away, the Crows.
Rain getting heavier here. Redden kicks long. Brown gets a free. Starting to tumble down with interest, the rain.
That's a bad mistake from Rutten, I would have thought. Just Bock, sorry. The ball was going to go over Jonathan Brown for sure. Just didn't need to give that one away.
McGrath, whose delivery's been good, short. Sherman. 5 points the margin. Brisbane kicking with the breeze in this third. Adelaide, of course, will come home with it unless it changes. And this weather changing by the minute. Simon Black.
A lot of numbers back now for Adelaide.
Trying to edge their way inside that 50. That was
that's
blazing
silly.
away. That was not good.
Well, it's game
Lack
sense.
of awareness.
Well, it's game sense there from Tom Rockcliffe. You've got to know the game sense, and when Adelaide have got extra numbers back, it's pointless playing on because what it does, it puts yourself under pressure.
Good chase down by Banfield. Put the pressure on the Thompson kick. Petrenko. Hands to Marriage. Little fumble. Wet ball now, of course. Petrenko. Dragged down by Banfield. Holding the ball. And this is kickable.
The tackle, and then he went to ground, took the ball to ground, tried to kill the contest, but good tackling, good run from Banfield again.
Well, he's been lively to start this third quarter. He's had 2 shots on goal, both from tackles. That's what you want from your small forwards, not only to hold the ball in. Here we go, McGrath again.
So McGrath from the square, terrible kick. Davis in the same spot he was in a minute ago when he did the same thing. Rutten runs off Favola, pokes it wide. Hawksley. Good contest with Gunston. Rich. Back again to Hawksley. Short. Play on was the call. Hawksley almost got his own crumb. Davis. Riley. Edwards. Quiet first half for Tyson Edwards. Handball smothered that time by desperate Favola. And that's a bit too desperate. In the back. Not paid. Bock. To the open side. Poor Pleasure. Difficult ball this. Being hunted down. Gathers. Chased, bounces away.
Near dropping the ball.
Yeah, although it's near legged as well. Good decision for the umpire there to let that go. Walker. Inboard Thompson. He's got the leads coming. Some inside, some
Super
outside.
kick.
Brilliant kick. Gunston never kicked a goal in his AFL career. Floats it long, and it comes back. Dangerfield.
Oh, Rains has lost him in traffic.
Plays on quickly. Was it touched? No, it's not. It's a goal. They lead by 11.
Andy Rains, I'm not sure what he was thinking there.
Well, the ball just sat up in the breeze, and he continued to watch where the ball looked likely to go, but as it hit the bank of wind coming through that goalpost. Dangerfield was in the best position, lost contact with the body.
But he went behind the goalpost. That's what I couldn't work out.
This is interesting.
Oh, gee.
He took it on there, but Andrew Rains, he ran around behind the goalpost. I don't understand that. He just had to body up Dangerfield and cause a contest when in doubt.
It's a very hard kick to kick that, with the ball end to end.
Yeah,
and you hit dead smack in the middle of it.
Yeah, that's a good goal in the end, but might have been better off going back for the straight shot. Nevertheless, goal for the Crows.
Adelaide by 11. Hawksley tracks it down, gathers inboard. Riscatelli looking for the instant reply. Redden, 45 from goal. Wind at his back, heads goalward, touched on the line by Rutten.
Just a good jump, just to get a claw on that one. So Rutten jumped very close to the line, umpire in good position.
Bock. A lull. Crowd a little hushed. Adelaide back out to a 10-point lead. Marich should jump into this. Goodwin goes first. Front of the pack. Didn't mark it. Off hands. Rockcliffe. McGrath. Kick smothered. Rockcliffe back in. Bumped off it. Van Berlo. Doughty. Handballs back into traffic and into trouble. Buchanan. Inboard. Rains. Gets a kick away. Terrible kick through Davis's legs. It's worked. Marich. Douglas. Handballs in place for the free. Doesn't get that. Power, Leuenberger. He got a kick away. It was going to be a throw, but he got a boot to it. Sherman takes the mark. Hot contest this.
Good tackling pressure. Don't know whether it was 15 metres though.
Favola tried to use some body on Rutten. Rutten wins.
What are the conditions like down there now, Lee Colbert?
Yeah, deteriorating even more, Spud. So just weighing in on the Andy McLeod and Edwards battle. It's just the impact on the rest of the teammates, I think, is the biggest issue, I think, with the Adelaide Crows.
You might be right there. And to have that resurfaced today when Adelaide's probably in their worst spot they've ever been in their entire AFL existence. Doughty heads wide. McGrath. And they have had their worst start ever to an AFL season. The Adelaide Crows. Chance to turn it around. Stevens heads long. Walker.
All he has to do is hold it up and Paul Pleasure runs into an open goal.
Gives it early to Paul Pleasure. Staker, brilliant tackle. That could be a game changer. Runs him down and then should have got a free. Paul Pleasure grabbed his leg. Umpire didn't see it. Staker hacks it clear. Bounces it to the wing. Crowd are stunned by that. Sherman gives it up. That could be the tackle of the year. Black wobbles it towards Brown. Handballs it to Power. Can they get the goal from it? Kicks toward full forward. Buchanan, Favola, they're both there. Buchanan tries to trap it. Doughty with him. Favola, he's been good all day. Misses.
We'll have a look at that another Taylor Walker. All we have to do is go back and hold it up and kick the ball.
Kick the ball. The handball, they've slaughtered a goal here. It had to be a kick. Take his time. There was no rush whatsoever because it was a one-on-one, two-on-one situation. So either Staker was going to pull back onto the spare man and Dangerfield himself could have a shot.
Lee Colbert, Simon Goodwin looks a little bit of pain on the bench there.
Yeah, that kick out from Staker from the back line and Goody was underneath it, just got winded. He'll be okay.
Was that holding the ball? Staker should have got a free kick there with Dangerfield.
I think he probably should have.
He should have got one for being legged about 5 seconds later.
Exactly, and the umpire missed both.
That's just game sense from Taylor Walker.
Oh,
that's a soda goal. Could have waited for Paul Pleasure, got to the goal square on his own, because there's no Brisbane player within 60 metres of Paul Pleasure.
Van Berlo dances across the defensive goal square. Difficult ball, dropping in the breeze. Davis did well.
He's coming on. Phil Davis, filling in for Andy Otten, who had a knee reconstruction at the start of the pre-season.
Yeah, just game number 6 for Phil Davis. Turnover. Black inside 50, cut off by the man we spoke of, Davis. Riscatelli, a kick, not 15 you heard. Favola didn't get a kick away, now he does. A drop kick. Hit the deck, hit Stevens. He gave it up. Van Berlo.
Under CG Adelaide.
And Jonathan Brown, he's had a quiet day at the office. Hands it up, Riscatelli. He's got McGrath short. He sits it, and McGrath takes a strong grab.
He's taken over from Josh Drummond since Drummond's gone out. McGrath, he's the quarterback now. They love getting the ball in his hands. And
carries the ball well. Uses it well. And he can kick this journey with the wind as it is today.
Was once a forward, of course. He's got a 5-goal game to his name back in 2007. So he knows how to kick them. And he likes his chances here with the breeze at his back. Gives it some air. And the breeze pushes that strongly, straight through the middle. It's a 3-point game.
It's a big win for the Brisbane Lions to put pressure on the Adelaide Crows when just 60 seconds ago the Crows should have kicked the goal, but this is where the pressure was put on deep, the tackling pressure. When the Adelaide Crows had the opportunity to sort of get it out of this area, there was enough pressure to cause the turnover, and Brisbane Lions gained possession, and then some good vision to find Ash McGrath by himself at the 50-metre arc and kick a goal. So finally, it appears it might be the scoring end.
1 goal each for the quarter. 3 points the margin. He's joined us late. Brisbane kicking with the breeze in this term. Little nudge. Tip at the clearance. And a good bounce for Walker, although he's dumped. Hawksley comes up with it. That kick toward the boundary. He'll have to go and fish it himself. Walker gets there first. Jumps on it, shuffles it out. McLeod. From the boundary line, almost Dangerfield, back of the pack, Douglas slides it home. Instant reply, they lead by 9.
Well, that's what you need. You're playing your home crowd, you're under pressure. You need to force the ball in there. McLeod, super first quarter, quiet in the second quarter, force the ball forward. Not sure whether Staker could have body lined it or attacked the ball a little bit more, but he just waited back. It was a mean bounce, slippery ball. Not a lot Power could do there. Fell into Richie Douglas' hands. Very good goal. A slippery ball. You must body line it though. He just got outside the line of the ball.
"17 minutes gone, third term. 9 points the lead. From the ball up, Marich back into the ruck for Adelaide. No clearance. Another ball up will occur.
Easy, boys, come on.
Van Berlo's running into the pack now, just to the right of screen. He was going back as a loose man. There he is. Loose man there for Adelaide.
Clark doing some ruck work against him. Riley, bottom of the pack, can't get it out. And we'll get another ball up.
And he's the guy that started a lot of the counter-attacks in this first and third quarters. He had 21 disposals, 10 handball received. So Brisbane just may be aware they go to him under pressure.
Little knockdown McGrath. He's been sensational. Slides this toward half forward. Buchanan, good one-hander.
Strength from the little man. And Ash McGrath, conversely, was sitting at the back as a defensive sweeper for the Brisbane Lions in that last stoppage and was used on the way out. So there, good use of the body and left hand to bring that one in. This is like Colby's grandmother. Left foot.
She kicked this, I'm telling you.
Wet ball now, though.
Runs out a bit, and the breeze pushes it hard.
A little bit too much arc on that one.
Tough conditions. Wet ball. 6-goal breeze.
Edwards. Adelaide will come home with this breeze. They might be content to go in with an 8-point break. Tyson called to play on. Rutten the target over the back. Scott Stevens just before that travelled out on the full.
It was good work from Stevens, good work from Rutten, as you called it, Dwayne.
Rains backs back. That was great work.
Good courage.
He could have been killed there.
Yeah, eyes to the ball.
See, that sat with the breeze as well on Staker a little.
It's interesting. Marriage the ruckman. He's the guy limping after that contest there with Andrew Rains. You just see here.
Could have maybe gone a little harder, although...
I think he twisted his knee before he jumped there, Dwayne, in his defence. He's coming off the ground too, the Adelaide ruckman. This is a huge loss.
Absolutely.
He's the only ruckman they've got. You've got Leuenberger and Clark for the opposition. Means that Tippett, who plays forward, will have to go in the ruck now for Adelaide.
Yes, if it does pump down rain, then maybe one less big man won't hurt them as much. But as you say, clearance is important.
It just means they take away one of their strengths, of Tippett being that strong target up forward.
Range short. Tippett knocks it down away from Buchanan. Handball's inboard, Paul Pleasure. Bounce pass. McLeod takes on Adcock. Not a lot to go to. Scott Thompson gets back. Bouncing ball. And it beats him.
Just couldn't drag it around his body quite enough, Andrew McLeod, to hit Thompson, who was streaming through the midfield towards the top of the goal square. And Doctor will assess the situation with Marich's knee.
How is he down there, Lee Colbert?
As Lynchy alluded to, talking to the doc, and you pointed out as well, Spud, he just tried to pull up so they didn't run into the back of Reigns and give himself a nice twist. So he's going for a walk now, trying to get some warmth back into it, and hopefully he'll be okay.
It was that last step before he was going to crash into the back of Reigns, I think was the spot.
Doughty couldn't break free with it. And we'll get a ball in. Adelaide's lowest ever finish, 13th. That was under Malcolm Blight, the year Blighty was sacked. Malcolm Blight 3 years here with the Crows, 2 premierships and a 13th. They've never won less than 8 games in a season, Adelaide. Right now, they're 1 win and 7 losses. 5 minutes to three-quarter time. They pile on. Ball up. And Marich warms up. In fact, their worst 3 seasons have led to 3 coach sackings here, the Adelaide Crows. Blight, 13th, sacked. Robert Shaw, 12th, sacked. Gary Ayres, 12th, sacked. From the ball up, Dangerfield. Can't break free. Poor Pleasure, almost a throw. Goodwin shuffles it back. Davis, kick smothered. Adelaide have the numbers around this ball. Tackle from Clark. Van Berlo shuffles it out. On the outside of the pack, though, Banfield sprints clear. Goodwin chases. Banfield runs away. Handball's inboard. A wobbly ball gets it back again. Power, not a long kick. Banfield, this would be the goal of the afternoon. And that could be the fire starter.
Could be the fire starter from the fiery redhead, and the speed and pace and the want to take the game on. Look at the speed. I mean, Simon Goodwin just couldn't put a dent in Todd Banfield's pace. In the end, a poor handball was well picked up by Simon Black. It just rarely fumbles at all. And Luke Power just gave a nice one to Toddy Banfield, and his kicking on that occasion was fantastic. Good goal. 3 points down the Brisbane Lions. Intriguing game just before three-quarter time.
Lee Colbert, Favola off the ground just for a spell.
4 minutes to go, rest, and they push Clark to a full forward for the Brisbane Lions.
Brendan Favola resting for a last term assault, you'd think. Petrenko captaining the team today, misses the target with the handball. Lions get it to half forward through Adelaide possession. Diving in, not able to make something of it. Schmidt. Ball eludes McGrath for one of the first times today. Edwards, handball over the head. Cook, Petrenko, sidestep, handball to no one. McGrath slaps it down. Simon Black, and shuffles it through McGrath again. They were away then, the Lions. Stiller, caught. Riley drags him down. No prior opportunity. Ball up.
Good play from both players on that occasion. Stiller went in low, picked up the ball. Good tackle from Riley. See Michael Voss with Craig Lambert just off to his left.
Adrian Fletcher and Jade Rawlings to the left corner.
They've upped the ante in the contested stakes too, Brisbane this quarter. 30.
Cook.
23 Adelaide.
Caught, got a handball. Doughty runs into Banfield. Did he have prior?
Yes, he did.
Didn't have a lot of prior.
I thought he had an opportunity to handball the ball, Dwayne. That's why when he first got it, yeah, just there was a bit of a lead up. He had a chance to give it quick hands, which in today's footy.
Simon Black just shuffles it forward to attacking 50. Rich breaks free. This would be huge. Kicks toward goal, and the Brisbane Lions steal the lead.
Banfield's been outstanding.
He's been the life of the team in this quarter. His speed, his tackling ability, whether he's got the ball or chasing, he's been outstanding. This occasion, nice bit of work from Daniel Rich. Hasn't had enormous impact on the game so far, but he's a beautiful kick of the ball, and that is a nice snap in front of goals. They've hit the front of the Lions and get the opportunity to kick into the wind in the last quarter, which seems to be the way to go.
Three-point lead to the Lions. First time they've led since the opening term. And they've got 3.5 minutes more with the breeze in this quarter. Rich wobbles that towards Sherman, who loves a goal. Handball to himself.
He's Banfield again.
Banfield bends it, but not enough. Behind.
He's dangerous. The Lions haven't had to rely on the two big forwards in Brown and Favola in this quarter.
He's had 6 possessions. More importantly, 5 tackles, 1 goal, 2. And he set up another 2 goals.
Outstanding quarter of football from young Todd Banfield in only game number 9.
Difficult to see on your screen, but the rain's starting to come down again here as Bok to Cook to Van Berlo. Straight down the middle. Scott Thompson flies. Got 2 hands to it, couldn't mark it. Gathers his own
Too high.
Caught a little high. Umpire said no. Rains puts it back inside 50. Clark down there. Rutten. Clark lays a good tackle on Schmidt. Shuffled out. Van Berlo, he's in trouble. Edwards caught by Brown. Gives it up. Riley, Rutten, Doughty, Van Berlo. Still taking the game on, Adelaide. Wobbles one wide. Tough ball to gather. Adcock gathered it brilliantly. Rains into trouble. Runs his way out again. Rich. They're confident at the moment, Brisbane.
Seem to be running hard at the moment, Dwayne.
Redden.
Using the ball well too.
A floater. Brown over the back. It's rolling towards goal. I'm not sure it was touched. It's a behind regardless.
Yeah, that was a let off there. I don't think it was touched either.
No, it wasn't touched. Mitch Clark has pushed forward with Jonathan Brown. While Brendan Favola has a spell. So the jump here, and this typical of the day, is the ball carrying over the top of the big forwards at that end of the ground.
Would have been a goal. Goodwin down the line. Leuenberger back inboard. Play on, as you heard. Scott Thompson, Rutten, Van Berlo.
In trouble.
Riley,
They're in trouble.
Brisbane have the numbers around this. Power gets it free. Banfield, Power, Riscatelli. Simon Black waited for it. Douglas went and got it. Schmidt, Doughty. Adelaide on the rebound. Paul Pleasure. Ball stops on him a little and he falls. Leuenberger dives in. Good contest, both players. All players at the moment. Slung clear from Rains. Leuenberger, Stiller. Rain continues to pump down. Jonathan Brown, slippery ball. Drops the mark. Back to Stiller. Can't gather the slippery ball. Adelaide with numbers. McKay. Bok. 1 minute to 3/4 time.
They got the overlap.
Petrenko.
McLeod.
Go to Stevens. Got Tippett on McGrath if he can isolate it.
Puts it up high, hoping for a leap. Tippett, front spot.
There it is.
Oh, it's a big grab in the conditions.
It was a great
Slippery ball.
It was a great setup because he identified that Tippett was on McGrath, and that was the option. McGrath engaged him, and McGrath thought, well, I'm in a bit of strife here. I've got to go. You can see Stevens staying down, and why not when you've got the big ruckman Tippett on Ashley McGrath in a mismatch?
He needs this. They need this. He kicked 4 goals, 3 last time here in the win over Richmond, but he hasn't got one so far today, Kurt Tippett. This to give Adelaide the lead, and probably the lead heading into the last quarter. That's what he has ahead of him.
Good goal.
Lovely. Adelaide by a point.
You're finding away, Adelaide. Both sides. You just sense this one's going to go down to the wire, Alistair. It was just the run and carry and the grunt, but it was a terrific bit of play here. You see the tip at the long arms. Not a lot Ashley McGrath could do there. He's probably been the best player on the ground, McGrath. But Maguire was actually coming off the ground, and that's why it was a mismatch. It's unfortunate because Maguire was having a spell coming off the ground, so Tippett pushed forward, knowing he'd have a huge height advantage.
No need to remind Adelaide fans, Adelaide won their only game of the season here by 50 points against Richmond after scores were level at 3/4 time. They kicked the last 8 goals in that game, and they kicked the last 7 goals of the game against North Melbourne last week, even though they went down by 9 points. They will come home with the breeze in this one, the Adelaide Crows. Huge final term coming up here at Amy Stadium. Grab yourself a coffee. It's 9-12 to 9-11. Adelaide by a point. From their team.
They've loaded up their forward line there, Adelaide. You've got McLeod, Portlesia, Walker, Dangerfield, Stevens and Tippett.
Ball tossed in the air to start this final term. Douglas with the important first clearance. Walker.
Front position. He ignores the lead.
He goes for goal. That's a
Big
long
hit.
punt. That's a lifter. Get on board.
Outstanding kick from Taylor Walker. Good coaching from Neil Craig. He's put all his aces forward. Portlesia, Taylor Walker, McLeod. Centre clearances. They're like gold in these conditions because what it does, it allows you to have a one-on-one. Taylor Walker sees the lead there of Dangerfield. Tippett floating back and says, no, leave it to me. Straight over the goal umpire's hat. What a great start for Adelaide. Fantastic. Beautiful kick. Used the bruise beautifully.
Great positioning from Taylor Walker. He's had the Adcock matchup. He's had the 10 disposals. Kicked, was it 1 goal 1 for the day, but he got in front, the ball dipped, and then the beautiful kick at goal. Just the start the Crows needed.
Caught, Marriage. Kicks high.
Oh, he's
almost
had
a mark.
fair piece of that too.
He didn't mark it in the end, but he thought he was about to before he was crunched. Power, heads wide. Sherman with some space. He's got Favola and Brown. He gives to Rich. Brown's too short. He goes wide. Favola's not there either. Up the way, hits the deck. Redden lays the tackle. Knocked to Doughty. Well played, Edwards. Hamill not so good. Simon Black, Rich, who lifted them in the third. Kicks it long towards full forward. Misses.
It was a good try. Of one step.
He's got some penetration in that powerful little body. He's a great kick on that left foot. So understand that attempt to shoot at goal. Brendan Favola wasn't overly happy. She thought it should have been on top of the goal square, but he can get the journey.
Well, it wasn't the right
Jonathan
option there
Brown.
from Rutten. You've gone straight to Jonathan Brown to a 3-on-1.
Heads inboard, dangerous kick. Riscatelli, and this is kickable. He can draw, scores level.
It'll be the last place you want to go to for a contested situation with Jonathan Brown. He's one of the best contested marks the game's ever seen. And he was outnumbered as well.
A grimace. Slow walk in. Kicks from the paint. Wynn pushes it wide. It won't even make the distance. Marriage flies. It's off hands. Probably a better result than a behind for Brisbane.
Marriott seems to be still struggling with that knee. He's not moving too freely. There's no tape on the knee, but doesn't seem to be running too freely.
Clark opposed to him here. Little flick back. Rockcliffe grabs it, gives it. Simon Black left it behind. Power a toe poke. Patfull misses the handball target. Cook. Crowd roaring for a free. Douglas almost a throw. Knocks it out. Sherman. 60 from goal. Wobbles one towards full forward. Bouncing ball. Brown didn't want to flick it back. Just takes it out.
Again, that's a good result for Brisbane. Hard for Adelaide to get some flow out of this situation.
Back. Oh, there's a free kick out of the ruck. Mitch Clark's free.
Gee whiz, in these conditions, that is inexcusable if he's had hands around that area. In the game of inches. Now he's definitely got a hold of his arm. It's a great decision from the umpire. They're both engaging, but then Marriage had him, Mitch Clark, around the arm.
Back into the team this week. And misses.
Problem if Marriage has got the crook knee, that limits your ability to hold your ground, and when you're getting pushed off the ball, you tend to grab and try to hang on any way you can, so that may be an issue for the remainder of this game.
Doughty long. Jonathan Brown flies in. Can't mark. Rich can crumb. Handballs it wide. Redden floats it. Riscatelli.
Oh, what a grab.
Big mark.
Big mark, 1-on-3. Riscatelli coming in from the side. Big grab on the chest.
And this for the lead.
just not confident with their kickouts at the moment, the Adelaide Crows, just going long to the same sort of position.
Well, Brisbane are ready at Ulster.
Oh, they're making it blatantly obvious where they're going to go.
And he misses. He doesn't even score.
He's just poked at that one. He didn't have a lot of confidence after his last shot at goal just a few minutes ago. But he's just poked at that one and just pushed it out to the right.
I know the conditions are difficult. It's windy, it's rainy, but this is players with the yips at the moment. Just not prepared to back with skills in. Edwards long. Brown's down there, almost but not quite the mark. Box spilled it. Should have taken it. Adcock smashes it wide. Simon Black from Polkinghorne wobbles it towards Hawksley. Can't grab it. Rich does. They grab him. Petrenko, who captains the team today for Indigenous round. Jared Petrenko gets it out. Sliding in Riley. Lays a half tackle. Ball tied up. And the umpire doesn't blow the whistle. He lets it shuffle out.
Briscatelli in the middle if they can find him.
McGrath, Patfull, ambles it back. Little fumble, McGuire. That might be enough. Turnover. Stevens had a piece of it. Knock it out was the call. Dangerfield did.
3 Adelaide Crows players here.
Scott Thompson to Walker. Oh, he played on. He took a step. Now he's told to get on with it. Sets it up. Kicks it long. That'll do. That will do.
He was a little bit confused what to do because he knew in the third quarter he had that instance where Paul Pleasure was running in, so unfortunately he thought I'll go back, but he went off the mark. You see Tippett running towards the goal. He's just gone up his line there. He knew what he wanted to do and thought, well, I just better kick it over the goal umpire's head again. Just simplify it for myself and just get it there. He could be the match winner here for Adelaide, kicking 2 last quarter goals in the first 5 minutes.
That's what pressure does to you when you're near the goals. It is a lot of pressure. Just didn't quite know what to do, but in the end the result was just beautiful on the left leg. Great goal.
Back in the middle. Marich, Briscatelli, both got a knock on it. Petrenko trying to lead his team home. Marich gives it up. Riley sends it long. Dangerfield couldn't trap it, but it's still alive. Pocket shuffles it. Out of play. Ball in. 11 points the margin.
Tippett will do the ruck work with Clark.
Tippett front spot. Clark with the fist, knocks it down. McLeod, a toe. It'll be another ball in.
Those 2 misses start of this quarter, Wayne. Brisbane kicking the 2 behinds. The 4 inside 50s. Adelaide have only been in 3 times for 2 goals.
31,500 here on the edge of their seats. Tippett, Clark, Dangerfield, Rich, caught. Walker kicked the last 2, tries to break free. Caught. That was a long time.
I reckon he's had a crack at get around the odd tackle there.
I think he had a couple of opportunities to give the hands and thought, I'm on fire here at the moment.
I might just whack another one on the slipper and get one through. Dice this game, but it was good tackling pressure.
Blood rule.
I said Matt Maguire's going to come from the ground. Bit of blood.
What are the conditions like there down there now, Lee Colbert?
Yeah, getting much more slippery, Spud, and the breeze has probably picked up a little bit as well.
Have they put the lights on at all, Colby?
The lights are on, mate. They are indeed. I've been watching Brent Riley in the Black matchup. Geez, he's done a good job, Riley. 20 possessions on Black, who's a pivotal player we know for 17. So good job by him.
Well, we just saw the Taylor Walker free kick there. He had, I think, 4 opportunities to maybe give hands to one of his teammates.
Had a couple, yeah.
3. I'll mention the middle.
All right. No worries, no. He's a few chances. Matt Maguire's just got the cut above the left eye. So he'll go off Dr. Andrew Smith and put a few staples in his head and a bandage, no doubt, and send him back out on the ground.
Well, these conditions today, the old stable, just see the Taylor Walker again. Yeah, you can just see there the elbow of Taylor Walker getting old Goose Maguire there on the scon.
Yeah, the staple wouldn't feel great today.
High towards the wing. Boundary line looming. It's hard to see on your screen how hard the rain is falling here. It's dark, the lights are on. As they say in Adelaide, it gets late early here. Ball about to be chucked back in. Leuenberger, front spot. Petrenko, Briscatelli wins it. Handball not so good. Diving through again, Riscatelli. No prior opportunity there. Ball up.
Good attack on the ball and good tackling by the Crows, but Riscatelli clean possession and really tried to barge through.
Brisbane Lions 2 goals from the lead. Marriage falls.
He's asking for the free kick now, Marriage.
Riscatelli down there. Douglas beats him to it.
Been lively, Douglas.
Inside 50. Walker couldn't get a fly at it. But with each passing second, Adelaide closer to a victory.
They are, but they need reward for effort. The ball has been down in their forward 50 for an enormous amount of time here. They've got to convert the opportunity here sooner or later.
Flick down to Goodwin. Can't get a kick out of the congestion. McGrath runs into a gang tackle.
Lee Cole, you see Brent Riley there screaming instructions to Simon Goodwin, who's on black, who's done a great job on black, so he's want to make sure that he doesn't get off the hook.
Yeah, nothing worse as a tagger. You come off for a minute or two and your man gets away from you. So, as you're right, Goodwin was getting yelled at.
Little fumble McLeod. And the handball out of play. And more seconds tick by. Brisbane Lions season arguably on the line here. 4 wins and 4 losses coming in. 11th on the AFL ladder. Started the season full of promise, and that promise not being delivered on at the moment. Polkinghorne slapped on by Gunston. Staker, Black, slippery ball, hard to work with. Rains, not 15. Staker, oh, he wants to go across the defensive goal. Dangerous kick. McKay floats in, spoils it down. They'll get away with it. Brisbane. Stiller, Adcock, handball missed the target.
Petrenko.
Douglas. Big, long kick. This will close it, maybe. It's a behind.
Terrific tackle, Petrenko, there to cause a turnover. That's what you need. Don't allow Brisbane to run the ball out with any ease.
No, they're working really well, and the reason Jed Adcock didn't kick earlier was because the zone was set up from the Adelaide Crows, and they had players spread through the middle of the ground. It was always going to be very hard to get through. They're moving the zone very well at the moment, the Crows.
McGrath wide to Leuenberger, got a hand. Out of play. Adelaide once again will get players around it.
More importantly for the Adelaide Crows, they've got players sitting out the back of the stoppage here. Just been manned up now, actually, by the Brisbane Lions.
Well, they've got a chance now, Brisbane, because Stevens is in the ruck, Marriage off the ground. They want to leave Tippett at deep forward, so they've got Scotty Stevens versus Leuenberger in the ruck.
Leuenberger down, but to Douglas. Kick smothered. Power. His kick smothered. Dangerfield, can he hit a target? Kicks to full forward.
Kick.
Floats back with the breeze with a touch.
It's hard.
They lead by 3 goals.
Well, a nice bit of work, and the cumulative pressure that Adelaide Crows have been putting on the Brisbane Lions have been working extremely hard to get the ball out of defence, but massive numbers. Luke Power just tried to get the ball over the line, and Dangerfield on the right boot. He was genuinely going for the top of the goal square, I think, to hit Walker, but it just drifted back with the breeze, and beautiful goal. Very important one, just stretched the margin out to 18 points now, which is going to be very difficult in the final quarter for the Brisbane Lions to bounce back and reel them in.
Well done, Neil Craig. Loaded up his forward line, put all his aces up there, and they've all had impact. And again, Taylor Walker, that was a good shepherd off Papwell there, because Papwell tried to get a piece of it, but shepherded through. Good play.
It's not cooked yet. Ball up in the middle. Clearance important. Power got it, but too late. It'll come back.
Walker was slow getting up after that contest and seemed to have just wrenched the knee. Had the physio or the doctor out to have a look, but important he stays fit for this last few minutes. Tippett's into the ruck against Leuenberger.
From the ball up, Staker breaks free with a handball to Leuenberger. Little fumble, then he gathered. Kicks it inside 50. Brown had a tough day at the office. Jonathan Brown. Power probably should have taken possession. Bock, Schmidt, Edwards. Rain continues to fall. Time continues to roll. Half back, could be a free, not paid. Thompson, little toe poke. Riley, back. Edwards to the wing. Gunston.
I like the way he goes about it.
Out of
Gunston.
play.
He just leads hard at the ball. He squares up to the ball. Young Jack Gunston.
Just 18 years of age.
In dry conditions, he'd mark that. He jumps early at the ball.
Seems to move around like a Brett Burton. You know, mid-size, jumps well, moves well, good skills.
Leuenberger the flick. Rich, don't argue, runs into trouble. Adelaide seem to have 25 players on at the moment. Stevens to half forward. Walker down there to the back of the pack. Dangerfield's been the danger man. Out of play.
Time to roll the dice, boys, I think. Brownie behind the ball for me.
All right, Colby, see if you can run that one up to Michael Voss in the box, but you've got to get him into the play. It is time now to roll the dice, as you said. There's Michael Voss there. He'll be just thinking, what can we do to get through this pressured zone that the Crows are so effective at setting up at the moment.
12 possession, 2-mark game for Jonathan Brown. Staker didn't look to dispose of that legally. Thompson to full forward. Walker's down there. It clears the pack again. To the back. Oh, little fumble by Walker. He spent it before he'd earned it. Boundary line there for him. Plays for the free. Ball in.
His eyes are lighting up every time he gets the ball at the moment.
He knew what he wanted to do. That was take possession and just snap it on the left boot again. And
see him have a look here before he gets the ball in his hands.
Back into play. Simon Black run down. Just got a handball away. Thompson over it. Tries to get away with it. Still over it. Still got it. And lucky to get away with it. Crowd have found voice. It's impossible to think they could win 10 of their last 14 games and make the finals. It's always nice to keep the dream alive. Ball up. Douglas. 16 minutes gone, final term. They've led at every change, Adelaide. 19 at quarter, 4 at half, 1 at three-quarter time. Black to Power. And his handball too wide. Luke Power, game 249 for him. Big milestone next week, game 250. That's against Collingwood at the Gabba, so it doesn't get any easier next week for the Brisbane Lions.
Just wonder where the spark's going to come here for Brisbane for the last 10 minutes of this game. One-on-ones all over the ground now. There's no free players behind the ball. No easy contest.
Taylor Walker having a rest. Clearance important again. Power knocks it on to Black. Rich, short, Jonathan Brown. And they still don't get anything from their main man. Slipped through his hands. It is a tough ball to mark. Sherman breaks free, kicks toward goal. It floats. Rutten gets back. It's a behind.
That was a beautiful kick to Jonathan Brown, just the conditions.
McKay.
They need to hold the ball in their forward half. Just was slow getting the zone up. As you see, Jonathan Brown, just the hands. Just didn't get behind the ball. Wet conditions, very important to hit the ball with flat hands.
He's marked those before. Black. It's just not the same Jonathan Brown at the moment.
And when you've got injury concerns, it tends to take your focus
Sherman's
away.
free here.
If it bounces, he's away. It didn't really sit for him. 3 come at him, holding the ball. Play on advantage.
Oh, the Dangerfield running to space.
They can close the door here. They can do it with Gunston kicking his first goal in AFL footy. He runs onto it, the debutant. It doesn't get any sweeter than that. Welcome to AFL footy, Jack.
Oh, and Adelaide Crows players are absolutely coming from everywhere to give a pat on the back to young Norman Gunston, and that is a great thrill, and you would suggest that's probably enough to ice the game. 23 points. It'd be hard for the Lions to come back here. Maybe still just half a sniff, but that is a very good goal for the young fella. He worked hard to actually get out into space. He ran back very hard. Just see there, Simon Black wasn't overly happy with that one. A good kick from McLeod.
Fantastic to see. Great tackle up the other end of the ground. Caused the turnover. Simon Black was a little bit stiff not to get a 50 about 30 seconds before that.
Absolutely. Polkinghorne thumps it back. They're 4 goals from the lead now. Buchanan attacked that nicely. They look up at the scoreboard. 19 minutes are gone. Kicks it wide. Van Berlo, body on the line there. Favola went down. Ball with him. Riley with him. Umpire with him. Ball up. 4 goals for the Fev today, all in the opening half.
Yeah, his direct opponents played pretty well too. Ben Rutten with 22 disposals.
Rich, big smother that Doughty. Douglas.
We're doing all the little things now, Dwayne. The tackles, the smothers, just the deft touches, the good use of body. It's one-on-one all over the ground now, so it's going to take a super effort for Brisbane to get back into this game.
That's what would frustrate a lot of the people here at the ground today, seeing the pressure that the Adelaide Crows are putting on their opponents. Just haven't seen enough of that throughout the season so far.
Cook took it out of the ruck. That's ball.
Well played. Well, good decision there for the umpire.
Stiller's ball.
Players free here.
4 goals from the lead. Power plays on to the pocket. And Bok too good.
Well, Jonathan Brown and Bockett's a great duel, but just Jonathan Brown, just that power off the mark, Alistair. He hasn't been able to break the leg rope at all on Bok, and he's just lost that power in the push-off.
That's what we have noticed over that last month. Yeah, the power to keep driving as he does, cover the big Ks, and that started with the game against your nephew, young Spud at the MCG. He just didn't have that power then.
Scatelli played for the free. Redden went the ball and then lost it. Edwards dumped into the turf. No prior opportunity. Ball up.
And their forms coincided with that too.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Their 5th loss in a row since that game.
Yeah, no doubt about that. The power of Jonathan Brown, and I mean, obviously they feel he's fit enough to play, but it might have to be a reassessment to make sure the big man is back fully fit. That man seems fully fit at the moment.
Well, they're pulling out all stops, aren't they? Because they've had Brown and Favola over here all week.
This season on death row right now, Brisbane. Adelaide free, Marriage.
We're getting support from Rutten. But no, he's ignored that one.
Well, time's as good as goals right now. Take a couple of minutes off the clock. Douglas. Edwards. Caught by Power. Got a handball away. Still in the area. Douglas uses the line. Turns it over. Maguire. Banfield. Thought about handballing inboard. Heads toward Jonathan Brown. Bok too good.
Yeah, I think Jonathan Brown's on one leg too, Dwayne, though.
Don't they say when you take the field you're fit?
No.
You are, but there was evidence there over that 5-metre lead.
He's got to stop playing. He can't play like this.
Yeah, well, I'm not taking anything away from Nathan Bok. Outstanding. You're right, Dwayne. If you're out in the field, you cop it. But you just see Bok run past Jonathan Brown there. And have a look at Jonathan Brown go to ground with the slightest touch.
Well, don't play him.
Well, I'm sure after the game they'll have a look at this tape, Dwayne, and have a serious discussion about it.
Doughty. Inboard. Van Berlo. Edwards. Runs through the attempted tackle. Thumps it long. Walker, little push off, feeds back. He's been the hero in this last term. Slides in, caught by Staker, got it up. Close to the boundary.
Threw it out, I reckon.
Rains, little toe on it. Walker again. He's got it. He's making an attempt. Ball up.
Now it's a win again for Adelaide, just holding the ball here, just taking some juice out of the clock. Just under 7 minutes to go. Ball ups, they'll be happy with this, Adelaide, for the next 4 or 5 minutes.
Absolutely. Thompson missed the target. McGrath. Riscatelli got one. Too high. Downfield free to Simon Black. Inboard to Power. Marriage can't touch it. Power plays on. McGrath. He's got Favola. He heads too long for Favola and Brown. Kicks it straight to Bok. Hard to believe that. Rutten. He's got McLeod out wide. Heads inboard. Schmidt. Torpedo. Long towards half forward. The runners go for it. The boundary line beats them all. It stays in.
Stays in.
Scott Stevens. Petrenko. Clever pickup. Looks inboard. Got a couple of options. Caught by Clark. That's ball. Dead.
Yeah, well done, Mitch Clark. You've got to get up quickly, move the ball on. 50-metre penalty, and that's just what the Brisbane Lions needed to get the ball up the ground quickly. Now they've got to get up quickly to take their free kick before the Adelaide Crows have time to get all their players back in that defensive 50.
Mitch Clark's ball. He'll have to come back.
So actually, it's probably worked in favour of the Adelaide Crows now.
Clark bombs in, a drop punt. Cook, he caught everybody else in, had to go for it. Goes in now, dives in, wraps it up. Ball up.
Now, there's massive players, and then what the Brisbane Lions need to do, need to pull a couple of players out of this stoppage, actually, get them on the outside and try to clear the congestion somehow. Now, this may be a third-up jumper to knock the ball into space.
4 goals from the lead. Dangerfield ran into a gang tackle. Shuffles it out. Buchanan caught. McGrath caught. Adelaide edged closer and closer to their second win of the year.
And conversely, the Adelaide Crows are happy to have pairs of players tight in around the stoppage. They'll be on the outside of the stoppage to stop the Brisbane Lions from running into space.
Marich and Leuenberger. Buchanan. Outside 50. Adelaide with the numbers. Van Berlo.
High contact against Staker.
Schmidt play on advantage. Gunston took it out. But he was allowed to keep going. For pleasure. Off hands. He can wrap it up here and now. Kicks toward goal. And it's across the face.
There's a little bit happening off the ball. And Walker and Staker as well.
I've just received word, boys, from the Australian Cricket Association, second in charge, Michael Brown. If you continue to call his nephew by Norman Gunston, there'll be no tickets or dressing room passes for the summer for you three boys.
We better look after Brownie then. Jack it is.
Yeah, Jack Gunston. He's played well, Jack Gunston, I reckon, today, Lynchy.
Yeah, it's better than the norm. Short pass, good one.
Van Berlo looks sore coming off the ground there, Lee Colbert.
Yeah, he's limped off. There's been a couple, actually, Scotty Thompson the same, and Brent Riley. So some sore boys for the Crows.
He's ran hard though, Van Berlo. Leading possession getter on the ground, 29 disposals, more importantly 14 handball receives. The run and carry that's been missing from the Crows the first 8 weeks.
To nail it shut. Bends it back, it's coming. And that will nail it shut. 4 goals won the lead. And 4 minutes left on the clock. And for Michael Voss, season slipping away.
Yeah, after a very good first month, and the last 5 weeks have been disappointing. Some tests with the injuries, but still got enough players out there to do the job.
Cloud inside 50, Paul Pleasure. Polkinghorn, Clark. Across the defensive goal. Maguire. Driving rain against him. Scoreboard against him. Power from half-back. Short pass. Buchanan on the move. Got it.
Look at the Crows zone pushing back here, though.
Yeah.
Favola. This will be a big contest. And a good one, too, from Schmidt.
They work hard.
Ruck.
Schmidt.
Heads it wide. Davis. And the boundary line, his friend there. He used it well.
Did use it well. Buchanan blazed away a little bit, but that's just a testament to the structure that's been so disciplinedly held by the Adelaide Crows today. Their structure, their zone has been mobile and stayed in place and very predictable.
Rich, high bomb. Fist from Schmidt. He'll enjoy this win against his old team today, Chris Schmidt. Doughty thumps it to the wing. Gunston down there, attacked it well, knocked away from him. Stiller to half forward. Banfield. They continue to take the game on. Favola had a horrible second half. Sherman.
Well, Power's in the square by himself.
Rockcliffe. And he hits Power, who takes the mark. But he knows 28 minutes on the clock. This one might be dead. McGrath. A late consolation prize.
Yes, McGrath's been one of the better players on the ground today. 28 disposals, 2 goals, 1. He's played some sort of game. Sherman's been one of their better players as well. And great vision there to hit up Luke Power. Very unselfish play here. Davis manning the mark. McGrath's ran the length of the ground there to get that goal. 11 handball receives and 5 inside 50s and 4 rebounds. So 2 goals, 1. That's a great return from a half-back flank.
Yeah, especially a player was in doubt with injury. Looked unlikely to play this week.
That was the crowd applauding Andy McLeod there, Lee Colbert coming off the ground.
He also limped off Van Berlo with a hamstring. McLeod limping off. I think just a little bit of cramp. They'll be okay.
Black to Power. 40 from goal. Sends it wide. And the lead, 3 goals, 1. with 2 minutes 24 left.
Thompson's been good as well, 27 disposals.
Yep.
Then
Van Berlo's been good. In fact,
number of good players through the midfield.
and it's hard to see the 3 players that were dropped getting back in. Free kick, Leuenberger's ball.
Against Tippett.
He's mystified, and I think a lot of players around hear that whistle in a ruck situation. No one seems to know who's going to get the free kick, but Leuenberger on this occasion has got it.
Well, he had a shot on goal at the start of this quarter to really put Adelaide under the pump and missed it. And you have a look at that, not a lot in that.
No, not a lot in it, but the arm was over the shoulder, so justifiable.
And misses. And that seals it.
Sorry, it was Mitch Clark that had the first shot on goal at the start of this last quarter in a similar ruck infringement. Those 2 kicks, especially the Mitch Clark one early when Adelaide was still finding their way to the start of this last quarter. Brisbane had 2 shots on goal and they were both points, so it's all Adelaide today.
18 points the margin, 2 minutes left. Bock and Tippett fly off hands, and was that off Stiller's leg? It was.
A little bit stiff on that occasion, but it's just the way things are going. Probably a little bit for the Brisbane Lions, but more so for the Adelaide Crows. They've made themselves get the good half decisions today through some good play.
To the back, Rains backtracks. Maguire, Rains playing out time, but trying their hardest. McGrath.
Well, both sides have struggled here to win the contested possession, especially Brisbane the last 4 weeks, but Adelaide have had 30 more contested possessions than Brisbane today.
Good attack, Davis. Put his head down. I mentioned Brisbane have Collingwood next week. That's at the Gabba. The Adelaide Crows next 2 are tough as well. St Kilda at Etihad Stadium, and then Fremantle here at Amy Stadium. Goodwin thumps it towards Walker. Had a good final term. Has Taylor Walker. Free kick for High. Advantage played. Stiller sends it long. Favola can't get near it. Scott Stevens.
Well, he's been all over the ground, Scott Stevens. He's now a loose man behind the ball, so Neil Craig said enough's enough. We've just put the clamps on any forward entries for Brisbane now by playing extras in there.
Stevens played that role in the first term as well. He was dropping back into space and really making it difficult for Brown and Favola, so some good work.
Down the wing, and Mitch Clark takes the mark. Just pumps it back in hope. Brown. Bock wins out again. Shirley's got no skin left on the fist. Redden to full forward. Favola, Davis. Well played, Davis. Favola half held. Goes back in. He's kicked that.
He's kicked that.
Get out of here.
How's that go?
That's an unbelievable goal. Right on the Adelaide Crows will be disappointed with the fact they didn't get it over the line. When a ball goes in long and deep to the goal line, you've got to do better to get it over the line. But have a look at this. Just goes in, gets possession, and just thinks, oh, I'll have a little snag over the shoulder.
That's
a fair goal. Didn't think to give it off to Justin Sherman standing in the front there. That's a fair goal, though.
Well, it was probably harder for him to handball it up when he's lying on his back than actually kick the ball in his defence. But he's kicked some of the best goals we'll ever see today.
Oh, he
in
has.
those conditions.
It's been extraordinary goals. Some of his goals this year have been along those lines.
Rutten's played well. Rutten's had 24 disposals.
Well, who do you judge the winner
Fev's
there?
had 9 and kicked 5 goals too.
Crowd a little restless. Don't know how long left. I can see 33 minutes gone on the scoreboard. 2 goals the difference. Stiller wide. Staker wide. Rockcliffe dances around, gives to McGrath. Puts it inside 50. They could go down by a goal here if it's marked. It's not marked and they go down by 2. Huge win that for Adelaide. Hard to see them winning 10 of their last 14 to make finals, but they could upset some apple carts, and they've tipped Brisbane's apples out at Amy Stadium today. 13-15-93. Brisbane Lions 11-15-81.
Well, it's been a great week, big week, not a great week, a big week for Adelaide. It's now a great week as it got the win, because you see Neil Craig there vindicating him and his leadership group. They could have swept the 3 players transgressing off the field under the carpet. You can see the pride that he's got there, and I think what it did to give all the Adelaide players a little bit of a, gee, we're We're not just playing up the numbers. We need to really perform. And they started the game. They deserved to win because they started the game full of running. To Brisbane's credit, they fought hard. They come back as well.
Let's head downstairs with one of the stars of the show. He's with Lee Colbert.
Lockie pleasing.